Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. And today we're going to be going over 3 hours of gaming gems from every genre, from arcade sports, beat 'em ups, RPGs, fighting, shoot 'em ups, puzzles. Plenty of genres in this video for you guys to discover something pretty new. Now, this is going to be a pretty long video, so I don't expect you guys to sit all the way through it and watch it. Let it play in the background and you can listen to it while you work. And anyways, guys, let's get into the video. Sakune of Rice and Ruin Divine Edition. This actually just arrived today, and this game is like a simulator plus an action adventure game, which is kind of pretty unique. Now, I literally just got my copy of the game today, so I didn't really do an unboxing of it, but Joel did an unboxing of it about a year ago, and shows a lot of good stuff that comes with the package. I got my copy for, I think it was on sale for $35 shipped off of Amazon, so I went ahead and grabbed that. But anyways, guys, we're going to check out some gameplay real fast, and then we'll come back with the closing.
You're telling me to go out and hunt?
As long as the demons rule this island, foraging is too great a burden for the humans alone. Your divinity dictates that you must be the one to act, my princess.
Over here! Here we go! Whirling If we don't go fetch the others, they'll never find this place.
Princess, this is no time for a royal nap.
All right, fine.
Goddess, should we plant something in this field?
I have some rice husks right here.
We plant rice. Sakuna grows strong, yes?
Give my gratitude for this meal. So, Lady Sakura, what should we do now?
Here's Trials of Mana remake. So this is the third game in the Secret of Mana series, and the second game, which was Secret of Mana, they remade that. And I thought it was a pretty good remake. Some people were iffy about it, but I thought it was pretty good. But this one, like, really blows that one out of the water. This is an outstanding game. And pretty much when you start the game, you can start with 3 characters. Your main character and 2 other ones. Now, they eventually all meet up at a certain time. So you just kind of, like, pick the ones that are going to, like, go on the adventure together. The game starts out, each character has a different way they start the game out. Some experiences will be dramatic, some characters will be betrayed, or some characters just have a coming of age story, so it's really unique to the character you choose. I feel like this game will pull you in even more so than Secret of Mana, so if you see this one out there, I would say definitely give it a chance. It's very unique. Unfortunately, though, it's not 2 players from what I've seen. The original game is actually 2 to 3 players. This one, single player only. But hey, maybe that'll enhance the experience.
Be careful!
Too bad.
Okay!
Not too bad, if I do say so myself.
Alright, so next up is Crossing Souls. Now, some of you guys maybe remember I played this on a live stream back in the day. I was playing a long time, but I remember I got suspended and I couldn't live stream for a minute, so I kind of fell off from playing the game. but I got back into it again, and the game is amazing. I think a lot of people will enjoy it, especially if you like action RPGs. Now, I have to warn you guys, I don't want to go too much into the story, but the title kind of like reveals it itself. There's some moments in the game that are pretty sad, so just prepare yourself. But other than that, it's a great story, good action RPG, and I think a lot of people can get into it. Now, just a little bit about the gameplay. It's really cool because you can switch between characters at a whim, pretty much. So each character plays differently. Some have a dash move to kind of dash away from the enemy. Some have a defensive move. You'll figure it out as you play it. But if you want something cool and new to try that's kind of reminiscent of old school action RPGs, definitely give this one a go. Alright, so here we have Trinity Trigger. Now, I am happy to report that this is an RPG game, an action RPG game that gets right to it. There's no dragging the story around or anything like that. The game introduces you to the characters, and pretty much the game just starts from there. It doesn't take long to get into it, which is a great thing. Now, I don't want to tell you too much about the story. I'm not that far myself, but I do want to kind of give you a little intro to it. You're a character named Cyan, and Cyan has a certain ability that someone doesn't like, and they are after him. They are trying to kill him. So you're trying to protect Cyan from those individuals pretty much, and I'll just leave it at that. Now, Cyan is the main character, but he'll meet another character named Elise, and she's trying to help him. So they are the first two characters that I have right now. I know there's another character I'm supposed to get, but just a little intro to those characters I want to say. But the action in the game is actually really fun. It actually reminded me of a little bit of Zelda, how you go to the altars pretty much, and you're kind of like just, I would say, gaining your new abilities pretty much. When you go to the first altar, you get this, I guess they're called triggers, and they have certain abilities that help you enhance your combat. Now, so far, I'm having a great time with the game. It's really compelling, and it really, I would say, pulls you in. It seems to have an interesting story so far. Hopefully it doesn't fall off later in the game, but, usually, at least with the games I've been playing as of late, when it comes to action RPGs, when the story starts off strong, it actually, stays that way pretty much from what I've played. But anyways, guys, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this game. This came out of nowhere for me, so I'm really looking forward to finishing this game pretty soon here.
Eat this! Here! There!
Got you! Here! There!
Bullseye!
Bullseye!
Eat
Got
this!
you!
Bullseye!
Here!
There!
You! Here! Here I go! There! Here! Got you! Here! There! Here! Bullseye! There!
This'll come in handy. This'll come in handy.
Got you! Bullseye! Got you!
This'll come in handy.
Alright, so here is Crosscode. Now, I remember watching this game's development when it was coming out for PC, and I was really excited for it. This is a 16-bit looking game, and I know there's a lot of games out there that go with the nostalgia of the old school, trying to make it look like old school games to kind of entice people to try them out. And a lot of those games are pretty lame, but this one is not one of those games. This one just about immediately sucked me in. Well, I say just about because after a little bit of the intro, you have to go through a training part of the game where you're learning the mechanics pretty much. That overstayed its welcome just a little bit, but once that was over, this game got going really fast. Now, I'm not going to go over the story, of course, but the game's gameplay, like the mechanics of how your character attacks people, insanely good. You have your action slashes, you have your aiming attacks, which will help you with puzzles too, and you have your super attacks as well. And a couple other things that I'll leave to a surprise for you guys, but definitely, guys, a must-have game in your collection. If you like action RPGs and you like a great story, look no further than Crosscode. Here's Yuden Chronicle Rising. Now, I thought I should mention this game because this is a game that was created by the original creators of the Suikoden series, or Suikoden series, whatever you guys are calling it these days. But this is the first game in a new series they created, and this is a side-scrolling RPG where you get to you switch between 3 characters, mainly through the story. And I think it's something that people will like, especially leading into their newer game that's not out yet, 100 Heroes. I think our 100, I can't remember what it's called, I'm sorry. But anyways, if you're a fan of the Suikoden series, it's definitely, you want to try this one out. I'm about halfway through this game, and I'm having a good time, so I feel like this is definitely one that deserves to be on this list, and I think it'll pull you guys in, because I feel bad that a lot of people did get into the original Suikoden series, but the game didn't sell well. Hopefully that will change with this series, so definitely check this one out, guys. Here is Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack. This comes with the first 2 games in the series, and they are fantastic. So if you're familiar with a company called Indie Crates, or not familiar with Indie Crates, they used to work on a lot of Mega Man titles back in the early days, and they decided to branch off on their own and start making their own games. Their first IP that I know of actually was Gunvolt, but it might have been an earlier one as well. But anyway, at least their first own IP in America, I believe, was Gunvolt. But anyways, going to the gameplay. If you're familiar with games like Mega Man, especially Mega Man X series, this game is right up your alley. Seriously, there's so many good things I could say about this game, and if I did go through all of them, this video would probably be like an hour long. But by seeing the gameplay here, you're knowing what you're getting into. Also, just to let you guys know that the sequel is coming out next year, and this will probably become more popular as it's a physical. So it's available on the Switch, 3DS, and the PS4. And the spin-off game, Luminous Avenger, actually has a game coming out next year as well you guys should check out. So anyways, guys, Azure Striker Gunvolt series, Luminous Avenger, these are fantastic games that you must own if you like action platformers.
以前倒した
あなたがここに来ることは星の語りかけによって分かっていました永遠の時間
金色の髪を燃やしたぜ
So next up we have K's and the Wild Mask. So I had no idea this game existed until my buddy John Houston told me about it. So John, if you're watching, thanks for letting me know about this one, man. Appreciate you. So if you're familiar with playing games like Donkey Kong Country and Klonoa, you'll kind of know what you're getting into here. From the get-go, I felt like just the nostalgia from playing Donkey Kong Country with this one. So like when it comes to getting the lettering and stuff like that, spelling K's name out, getting the rubies or whatever they are, jewels or something like that, just really felt reminiscent of that game. So you know what I'm going to say. If you like what you're seeing here, you definitely might want to check this one out. I'm having a good time with this one. Here's Clockwork Ocarina. So this game has a lot of history behind it, and oh man, this game is almost 30 years old, but it was just released recently, probably about a few months ago. So what you are seeing here is what comes with the collector's edition of the game. You have the game itself, the art book, the soundtrack, and a bunch of art extras that come with the game. This originally was going to be an arcade game, but it was never released in arcades because the testing for it didn't go well, so they ended up like scrapping the game. But here's a lot of art stickers for the game. It's just really cool that this collector's edition came with all this stuff. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at some gameplay for it. As you can see, this is an arcade platform adventure game, and it's actually pretty fun. But it's kind of funny, you know, though this game is beautiful in color, the sprite work and everything like that, it feels like that as an arcade game, this wouldn't really do well, and I can understand why, because this is something I would rather play on a console rather than an arcade. From what I heard, they had pretty good production in this game done before they kind of scrapped it, so it's kind of sad that they weren't able to finish it back in the day, but I guess better late than never. You know, it's kind of a miracle that this game was actually released. So thanks to Strictly Limited for like putting this out there, man. I mean, honestly, you know, it's nice to see like lost games get revived, and this is really cool to see. Tanuki Justice is an awesome arcade platform game that's just really a throwback to games like, you guys probably never heard this game. I know John Riggs heard this game, of course. Kid Nicky, very reminiscent of stuff like that. So as you can see, 8-bit graphics, very arcadey. It has drop in and out co-op, which is really cool. So if you're playing the game, somebody wants to play it with you, they can just join you, which is really cool. Just really a lot of fun. You're gonna be mashing that button pretty fast to try to pull off certain combos to beat enemies and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, this is definitely one you should put on your radar, especially if you're a fan of 8-bit like arcade games, I would say. So here is Battle Princess Madeline. I had been eyeing this game for a long time, pretty much when it was actually kickstarted. Obviously, they reached their funding for it, and the game was created. And I wanted to wait until a physical release came out for the game. So once that came out, I was gold on it. Now, you guys probably saw a long time ago, if you're hardcore watchers, that me and Jason actually did a video on this channel. We did a gameplay video, and I was playing the arcade mode. It was pretty tough for me at the time because I could barely get past the second level. I don't even think I got past the second level during that playthrough. But the real way to play this game, honestly, is through the story mode. The story mode, it seems like that's the way the developer wanted the game to be played. So it's a bit easier than the arcade mode. But still, it's nice to have like both options of the arcade mode and the story mode for difficulty. So pretty much the way the game was meant to be played and the way the game was meant to be played if it was in arcade. So definitely try out both modes. If you're thinking it's going to be as hard as Super Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins, I would say it's not as hard as those games. It's a bit easier for, I would say it's a bit easier than a Ghosts and Goblins game, but still it won't hold your hand. So definitely try this one out, guys. And if anybody's already played this one, let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'm interested in hearing your opinions about it because I really enjoyed the story mode, how the game played, but playing the arcade mode, I was like, oh man, this is getting on my nerves. But I still could beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts pretty easy, so I don't know why I'm struggling with this game, but maybe I just got to practice a little bit more. Next up is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon Part 2. This game is a surprising sequel that I didn't know was going to come out, and it's finally out as a physical. I'm sure by now these games don't really need an introduction, but if you haven't played this series or heard of it, it is pretty much like a spiritual successor to the Castlevania series, and this one pretty much is a throwback of the old school 8-bit games, but really well done. You can switch between characters that you rescue during the game, or you can leave them behind, kind of like reminiscent of Castlevania 3, but thankfully not as hard as Castlevania 3. Now the standard version of this game will be available at Best Buy pretty soon. They don't have a release date yet, but I implore people, if you want to pick this game up, if you don't want to get a digital copy, go get your copy at Best Buy. Here's Curse Castilla. I talked about this game over the years. I think I talked about it when it came out on Vita and the PS4. It's a really fun game, very similar to Super Ghouls and Ghosts and Goblins, stuff like that. Man, but still to this day, I have not got the best ending for this game. I didn't get the worst ending, but I still got the bad ending, which I believe, if I remember, it's like if you die too much in the game, you can't get to a certain point. So that was kind of annoying. But still, no, actually, I got to the last boss, but yeah, I died too much, so something happened. I can't remember. It was messed up. So after playing this game, you want the best ending possible. So make sure you get good at this one. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. All right, so here's Gal Gunvolt Burst and Mighty Gunvolt Burst. These are considered like Mega Man type games. They're pretty cool. If you guys seen me, you've seen like some of the Gunvolt games I played on the channel in the past. These are 8-bit versions of those games, and they're pretty fun. This game comes with all the DLC characters on the disc, which is really nice, so you can switch between characters, and they all have their own little mini story or whatnot, if you care about it or not. But at the end of each level, you fight a boss, and the bosses are kind of like gimmicky and everything like that. They're actually pretty fun to figure out their patterns and everything like that. But throughout the missions, you'll collect like candy and food type items, and then that'll help heal you in case you need it later in the game. I actually use a lot of it during the bosses, but a really cool game. I love the indie crates decided to make these games because they just really do a good job. You can see that they have a lot of fun making these, and it just like, man, it just takes me back to the old 8-bit days of like if something like this was able to come out on a Nintendo, which it would not have been, but still it shows that the spirit is still there, that a lot of people love these type of games. Here's Gan Ryu Part 2. Now, the original game came out on SNK arcades, and then it got ported to the AES system, it says, in 2016. So this is a action hack and slash game, similar to games like Legend of Kage, Strider, maybe even Shinobi. So as you guys can see, it's a colorful looking game, looks pretty awesome. Cag swears this is like the best game since sliced bread, so I'm going to take his word for it. But I heard the game was pretty tough on its release, but they patched some things out of it, or they fixed some things, and it plays a lot better from what I'm told. So definitely looking forward to playing this one. I love the arcade look of it, and when I say arcade look, I don't mean the 2D look of it. I love the sprite work that they put into this game, so definitely something I'm looking forward to playing. Next up is Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 for the PlayStation 3. Now, you guys know I talked about this game before as well. I had the Switch version, but I wanted it on PS4, and as far as I know, this is going to be the only physical release for it. I don't think any American company is going to make a physical release for it, but if you guys haven't played this series by now, you guys are really missing out. Now, remember when I did my video before about it, the ratio wasn't correct on it, so it was all squished. The image was pretty much squished, but now I'm playing the game in 1080p. You guys are seeing that quality. The game is 60 frames per second. It's a lot of fun. If you like games like Mega Man or Mega Man Zero, Mega Man ZX, you'll definitely want to play this game. It is on point. Great boss battle, great level design, just overall a lot of fun. Looking back on this game's origins, it's crazy to think this series pretty much started on the 3DS as digital download, and now look how far it's come. Definitely support this game, guys. Well, hopefully we'll keep getting more games like this, because this game is a tribute to the old school platformer, I would say.
Prudent, aren't you? Now for my specialty! Waltz of twin elements! Enjoy, Striker. cautioning your partner while heeding your enemy. You could learn a thing or two from him, little kitten.
We got this, kitty. No matter what Attempts is trying to do, as long as we stand together, we can stop them.
Let's go! GB! Hidden 90-second run. Divine Ruin Heresy!
How magnificent! That's it for tonight.
Here's Wallachia, Reign of Dracula for the PlayStation 4 system. I got this from a company called Pixel Heart, and pretty much this game really feels like a throwback to the old school Castlevania games. Not the Metroidvania ones, but the more level-based ones. I would say this game is more of a run and gun type because of your main weapon is a bow and arrow, which you get upgrades with. You also have a side weapon, which is a sword. I feel like this game more focuses on like range combat, but if you're good enough, you can use a sword to deflect attacks and get close to enemies, of course, or just use it as a last resort. But depending on how skilled you are, that's going to be how effective that weapon is for you. You can tell that the people that created this game are big fans of the Castlevania series. It has an awesome soundtrack, and each level has a cool boss fight. It has little story tidbits too that kind of like help the story along as well. So definitely, if you're a Castlevania fan, definitely pick this one up. Here's Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger 9 Part 2. That's a crazy title. But this is very similar to Azure Striker Gunvolt Part 3 and any of the Gunvolt games. You play as Copen, and pretty much a little bit of the story, you get transferred to another world, you find some other beings, they're pretty hostile, you're trying to find your way back home. I felt like the workers in this game, those are the enemy types that you fight, were pretty awesome. I think they were very well done. My favorite out of the bunch that you fight is Brigade. I think Brigade is pretty awesome, especially if you fight them on hard mode. Definitely a worthy boss battle. But all of them are really good. Man, this is another action-packed game I think a lot of people will like. I was thinking about doing a review on this game, but I figured, you know what, it's just, there's plenty of good reviews out there. I mean, you guys are seeing it here now, so I'll just talk about it briefly here. But I think this is my favorite Gunvolt game right now in the series. That's probably, people are looking at me like I'm crazy, but man, I think this is the best one so far. So, yeah, you guys let me know what you think about that. But definitely, I would say pick this one up if you have the chance. It's a lot of fun. The music is great. The battles are just epic to me. I feel like it's just a throwback to the games I like. You know, like I don't know if you guys know this, or maybe you should know this already, but I'm a big Mega Man fan, and I love the Mega Man X series. I love the ZX series, even the Zero series as well. So definitely try this game out if you get a chance.
Ballistic Shield! You better be ready! On guard! Bringing it back! Go! Fire! 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 Forward march! I will hold the line!
This is it for you! I will race you! Let's go, Vespa!
Yes, brother!
Connection?
Complete!
Synchro Onslaught! This is our
True power!
time!
Watch closely! I'll obliterate you!
And last up, we have Panzer Paladin. So this game was a total surprise to me, and I actually briefly talked about this game before in a pickups video. Like, I had barely played it, but man, this game is a lot of fun. And what's going to attract a lot of people to it is the graphical style. It's reminiscent to, of course, 8-bit games, but also the cool gimmick in this game is that not only are you in this cool robot that attacks things, but you can actually get out of the robot and do certain attacks too to get like across certain platforms and stuff like that. So definitely an interesting game. I felt like it should be on this list, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it. Here's Road 96. This takes place in the summer of 1996, and basically you play as teenagers trying to get out of the state during some kind of like weird election. The gameplay in this is really cool because the story really changes depending on your actions, and you know, of course the end goal is the same. You want to get out of the state, but just how you get there can be very different depending on your choices and people that you deal with. Actually found this game by chance, and it just looked very intriguing to me. You know, anything that's kind of like nostalgic of the 90s, you know, I feel like I have to look into, and I don't regret this game at all. Now, I feel like some of the mini games are kind of tedious sometimes. After you do a certain event, they have these mini games that pop up, you know, from Connect 4 to other type of stuff. But still, it's still cool, I guess. I think what's going to draw people mostly into this game is most likely the characters. You're going to want to know how their stories play out, and they're very interesting characters in this game. I think a lot of people, for the most part, you'll probably like all of them. You'll also find mixtapes in this game, which will lead you to listening to different types of music, such as like rock. I think they have like country in here as well, and all kind of other music. It was really well done. You know, I was actually excited to find the mixtapes because I was just excited to hear some of the new music. All in all, though, the game has high replay value, so you'll definitely be picking this game up multiple times and trying to get different endings, and I think that's really great for this type of game. I'm on my second playthrough, and I'm really excited to see how this story is going to end.
Played games with me. They stole my money. And they made me realize that I have to come back home. I have to make my own way to help the brigades. Where am I? Road 13, Road 42, Road 67, Road 96.
Alright, so here is Cloudpunk. Yeah, so back when this first came out, I was kind of like talking about like Cyberpunk. I say, hey, if you guys are mad at Cyberpunk, and play Cloudpunk instead. But they're not related at all. These games are totally different. But anyways, you play as a girl named Rania. She's a delivery driver, and she's pretty much in a city where it's kind of like a lot of like, I want to say like suspect characters and whatnot. You know, she's delivering packages, she don't know where they are, so you know, that's where the game's kind of like a mystery comes in, I would say. Now, what drew me into this game was the cyberpunk world. If you guys are familiar with movies like Blade Runner, which you all should be aware of, that's one of the reasons that made me take a look at this game. Also, the game has really good voice acting. Some characters are kind of like meh, but still, the overall experience with the voice acting is really well done in this game, and you'll really like Renia and the characters she interacts with. There's plenty to do in this game, a bunch of side quests you could do, but one thing, guys, even though the game does look beautiful, don't zoom in too much on the characters because the character models close up, yeah, they're pretty blocky. But anyways, guys, if you looking for a good experience, something that's like pretty chill, definitely check out Cloudpunk.
The city moves real fast, and you got to move with it. You make a million choices a day to survive in Nevadas, and some of those choices are gonna hurt folks.
Life is going to be hard here in Navalis. You need to prepare yourself for that.
This is CorpSec. You're speaking to Agent Rio. You are currently breaking the law. CorpSec requires you to turn in your passenger and surrender yourself to...
If CorpSec have one priority, it's making sure business continues.
Alright, so next up we have a game called Erica. I heard about this game from Pete Dorr. When he was talking about it, he made it sound like it was the best game he's ever played in his life. It was pretty funny, and I said, you know what, let me check this out. So this game pretty much is one of those interactive games with full motion video pretty much, and you make choices during the game. Kind of reminiscent to games like, what's a good one to think of that's actually pretty good? Oh yeah, Late Shift. That was a good one. Definitely play that one, guys, if you haven't played Late Shift. But anyways, this game is a murder mystery. We play as Erica. She's trying to find out who murdered her father, pretty much. And there's someone out there that seems to be trying to kill her. So pretty much you need to find out what's going on. And this game has so many plot twists that you don't see coming. And depending on how you play the game, certain endings you'll get. The endings, I can't really consider them good or bad because it really depends on how you look at them. It's very strange, but anyways, guys, if you see this game out there, well, I mean, it is a limited run release, so you probably have to go to eBay to get it, but it is available as a digital download, so I would say this one's worth checking out. It's a good experience, and yeah, that's all I can say about it. Good experience. Memories Retold. So I found out about this game because I was doing some research on the company who created Road 96, and this was the game they made prior to that. So basically you play as two soldiers on different sides of the war with different types of goals, pretty much. One is looking for their son, missing son, and the other one, I forgot, he's like a photographer, and I think he's just trying to get back home to his love. But I'm still in the beginning stages of the game, and the art style for it looks like, you know, something out of a water painting, pretty much. I don't know if those type of graphics will make people mad. You know, I wish they would have went, you know, I know they're trying to be visual, but, you know, I just wish this was like a secondary option. But still, yeah, the game still looks cool, and I'm looking forward to like seeing how the story plays out. Where the Heart Leads. This game really took me by surprise. So one thing that attracted me to this game was the price tag. I got this game for $15, and pretty much you play as a character. Well, let's get into that for a second. So pretty much an event happens in your house. There's like a crater in your yard, and your dog ends up being stuck in it. So you agree with the family to go down and rescue the dog, but of course something happens and you fall through the hole. And once you get to the bottom, you pretty much start seeing events in your lifetime, and you can actually change some of these events pretty much. So the game is very narrative, I would say. It's very I was hoping it would have like some like voice acting, but I guess it works well without voice acting, I would say. The game has a really strong way of keeping you intrigued to what's going to happen next, pretty much. So I hear there's a lot of outcomes that this game has as far as endings and everything like that. Even if you replay the game again, the game kind of like, from what I've heard, the first ending you get is pretty much what's referred to as the real ending, I would say. So, you know, when you play this game, make sure you choose whatever decision like fits your personality, I would say. But I'm really happy about this game. I'm hoping to finish this probably with the next week or so. But anybody who's played it, let me know what you thought of this one. Life is Strange True Colors, sequel to the other Life is Strange games. Not only in name, I would say. This is a brand new character. And this one is not episodic like the other games, thankfully. They decided to come out with a somewhat complete game and put it out there, and that's the way it should be. But anyways, getting into the game is a beautiful looking game. You play as a character like starting her new life pretty much, and you're in this new town. It has a very I guess you could say zen feeling to it. It's all beautiful and nice, and everything is just going real good for you. But so I'm waiting for something crazy to happen, and you know, and then like kind of like just go from that point on, because every time a game starts off all nice and neat, there's some kind of downfall coming, and you'll see that in some of the stuff in this game what I'm showing in the footage here. So hopefully we'll see some more moments like that in the game. But I think it's definitely a cool game to play if you want something like like a good story, I would say. So if you like what you're seeing here, if you played the other games and like them, I say definitely try this one out as well. But like other games like this, I think one of the funnest things to do in these type of games is to play like an evil path. So that's what I'm going to do my first playthrough if they give me that option, because I think that's awesome. Like, you guys remember Mass Effect being an evil shepherd and Walking Dead being a jerk? You know, that it was hilarious, some of the dialogue and the things that would happen. So I will probably do that in this game the first time, and then if I play it again, I'll probably go through it being a nice guy. Here's A Nightmare for the PS5. Now, I talked about this game on my channel before, and you play as a kid who wakes up in a nightmarish world where he's being stalked by this, like, I want to say like this evil witch lady or whatever like that. She's really creepy. And it's kind of tense because you'll get into parts of the game where you have to do certain puzzles in a certain amount of time while you're being chased. So it's very like unnerving, I would say. Now this game was released as a budget game. I think it was originally $20, but now you can find it on clearance at GameStop and other stores probably for around $10 or maybe even less than that. But if you're into a little bit of puzzle, horror, adventure, I would say you would definitely want to pick this game up. It's definitely worth the price. Alright, now we'll take a look at the complex. I got this at the second Another Castle location, and I was surprised by this one. I never even heard of this game. This is one of those FMV games where it plays like a movie, and all you do is just make the choices with the characters. Now, you play as two scientists, and you're stuck in a laboratory with an infected person, and time is running out because like it's airlocked pretty much, so you'll run out of air soon. And you're trying to like figure out whether you could trust certain people in this game. I don't want to go over the story too much because it's actually pretty cool, but it has a lot of different endings, and the acting was very well done. I was actually surprised. I felt like I was a part of something really big here. So let me know if you guys have played this game, but it's actually really cool. Definitely check this one out. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention that this game has multiple endings, a bunch of different choices you can use in this game. And the first time I beat the game, I was somewhat happy with the ending I got, but I said, you know what, let me do another run. And when I played it a second time, I got an even better ending, so I was really satisfied. But I'm going to go through this game and try to get all the endings and see what they're about, see how twisted they could get. But definitely, I would say, out of all the FMV games out there, this is probably in my top 3. So check this one out. Next up is The Quarry. Now, I was thinking about actually doing a review on this game, but I was like, nah, I'm good. If you guys want to see a good review on this game, definitely check out Joel's video. He did an in-depth review about this game. Going over a little detail, the game is very well done. It's very story-driven. You actually really like the characters. You actually come to care about them. And you want them all to live. Now, usually when I play these type of games, I know the decisions to make. I know how to keep everybody alive, but I messed up in this one, and I got one of the girls killed, and then at the end I got somebody else killed. So I was like, oh man, this is crazy. But they kind of trick you though with the certain decisions. So this is definitely a good game that has a lot of replayability with it. You're gonna like this one, folks. You're gonna at least play it twice, I would say, at least. So you want to get the best ending because the characters you want them to make it out. At least there's only one character I didn't really like in the game, and that's because that was Josh because he was being a beta. But I mean, I guess they got to have one of those in these type of games. So, but the story is very well done. Like I said, it's really a cool game. Definitely a good experience. I was kind of disappointed though, because the online function wasn't available when this game was released, and it said it had online playability pretty much. So they patched that in later, which that was kind of annoying. But still, you can play it online now with friends, enjoy the story. I don't want to say too much about it. I mean, because it's an awesome surprise. If you played Until Dawn, you'll kind of know what to expect here. If you played that game, you're familiar with that one. I mean, people are calling this game the spiritual successor to that game. So you'll have a good experience with this one. And here is Dark Pictures of Anthology House of Ashes. This is the third game in this series, and I think this is the best one so far. Now, the game takes place in 2003 during the Iraq War, and your team is looking for Saddam Hussein. You end up getting some bad intel and end up falling in this underground cavern, and the game just takes off from that point on. People get split up. You're being chased. It's just all kinds of insane. I don't want to spoil too much of the story for you, but what's really going to pull you into this game is how much you like the characters. The characters, in my opinion, were very likable, and you really want them to live. You want to protect them at all costs. Now, the game does add this silly story trope about this kind of like a love triangle thing, I guess. That was kind of weird, especially with the situation you're in, but I guess it kind of works depending on how you look at it. But the game is very tense because it puts you in crazy situations where you have to be perfectly quiet or you have to do quick time events, and it's just like, just to be very careful when you play this game. You do have chances if you mess up, but you can't mess up too often because it could be fatal for that character you're playing as. Now, I think I said earlier that the characters are all likable. You're going to want them to live. My favorite character out of all of them was Salim. Man, what he was going through in the beginning of the game is pretty insane because he's actually by himself for a good portion of the game, and then he finally teams up with other characters. But man, I thought his situation was the worst. But anyways, guys, if you want a good thrill, I think you should pick this game up. It only goes for $30, and probably if you wait longer, it's going to be less. Definitely check this one out. All right, so excited to talk about this game, definitely. This is Drainus. Drainus is a fantastic shoot 'em up. You guys, even fans who don't like shoot 'em ups, they will love this game, at least in my opinion. The developers put a great deal of effort into making an awesome game, and it really shows with this one. So let's get into it. So first off, the pixelated graphics look great. All the environments really stand out, and just everything it's just beautiful to look at. You know, there's just, you guys are seeing it for yourselves. There's no slowdown to confuse you. You know, there's this fluid movement all around with this game, and the soundtrack. Whew. I mean, I was super impressed. You know, this game has a lot of tracks that you'll remember over a lifetime. So definitely the soundtrack is on point. Now, going into the game itself, you know, a little bit about the story. It's about two sisters. You know, one of them joins this Khalil Empire to make a better life for her family. Her family's like they're from a poor planet pretty much. She joins the Empire. Empire is pretty evil, and they create this prototype that later gets stolen by the sister, and that's where the game picks up at. And the ship that you're using in this game is amazing because not only does it move, it can move fast and, you know, move slow however you want it to. You could change the speed of it, but it has this ability to drain enemy attacks and use it as destructive energy against them. So that's the gimmick in this game, and it works out really well. No, I know a lot of folks don't like shoot 'em ups with story to it, but I think it helps evolve these type of games. You know, you can skip the story if you want, but if you want to follow the story, you can as well, and that kind of adds on to the replayability of the game. You know, a good story, you know, stuff like that. I feel like this game is just like where shoot 'em ups should set themselves to be at, I would say. You know, with the detail they put into this game, it's freaking amazing. I mean, first off, you'll start off on a desert planet, and then all of a sudden you'll take off in outer space during the level, and the way it transitions is so amazing. It's like, I mean, it's something like well, it looks like something out of a movie pretty much, you know, warp speed and all that stuff. So it's just, you guys will know what I mean when you try that game out. And also, for those of you that want to expand your game, you can also enhance your moves in the game. Like you have a 3-shot, laser shot, and all kind of different abilities you can use to level up your ship pretty much and change like how you play the game. I really hope that everybody who's watching this video picks this game up, because I would love to know your opinion about this game and how you felt about it. And, you know, compared to like some of your favorite shooters out there, I think it's one of my top favorite shooters of all time after playing it. You know, I know that after beating the game. All right, so the first game on our list is S Parade for the PS4. Also available for the Nintendo Switch as well from PlayAsia. Now, this game, from what I was told, is the story-wise, it's a prequel to the other game on 360 called Escoluda. I hate trying to pronounce these names, but anyways, really good shoot 'em ups. I really enjoyed this game, what I played so far. It kind of gives you that vibe of the old 90s shoot 'em ups by Cave when they were like actually doing a lot of like really good sprite work and everything. So really looks good, as you can see here. Lots of action. I wouldn't say it's a bullet hell. Maybe you could call it more of a bullet hell when you fight like mini bosses and then like end bosses at the end of the level. But it didn't seem too hard for me. I was having a good time with it. I actually, the first time playing this, I actually got to the 3rd level, and the game starts you out with like, I believe like 2 credits pretty much. So as you get game overs, they give you like 1 extra credit, and you keep adding on, and then eventually you get, I'm pretty sure you can probably get infinity credits like free play, but the game tries to get you like skillful at first, so you kind of get like a grasp of the game pretty much. And I was having a good time with it. Getting a shoot 'em up like this as a physical format is just like really amazing. A lot of people don't realize this, but shoot 'em ups are pretty much a niche genre, and to get them in a physical format, you know, it's just like it seems like it's unbelievable. You don't really see too many, at least good ones, come out to America, and when they do come out to America, they don't really sell well. Like an example of that is probably Cyberrier. That's an awesome game. Well, so it might be tough for some people, so maybe that's why it didn't sell well, but that's one of those games that's just kind of sitting on the shelf at stores right now. But Esperade, I'm not really worried about it because it already got a physical format in Japan, and it's in English, so you're good to go there. But before we move on, this is the PS4 version. I do not have the Switch version, so I don't know if they play similar to each other. I figured pretty much a lot of people will go for the Switch version over this one. I don't know why. The PS4 version should be superior, but I don't know if the Switch version has any slowdown or anything like that. So if you guys know about it, let me know in the comments. Beating the game. This is definitely in my top 5. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Trouble Witches Neo. This was a downloadable game for the Xbox Live service, and if you remember games like I would say Magical Chase for the TurboGrafx and also the Game Boy Color, it's very similar to that. It's more of a fast-paced action version of that game. As you can see here, fast action, very colorful, just all around just a good-looking game. I also like the part where you could use money that you earn from enemies and buy upgrades in the store. You could buy up to 3 upgrades where it comes to spread shots, maybe you're leveling up your energy, things like that. Really help you out during the levels. And usually these icons will come up in the middle of the level. Sometimes they'll come up before a boss battle too, so that'll help you out. Just really very helpful in this game. Also too in this game, guys, it's it has, if you play the game in English dialogue, it has some of the worst voice acting you've ever heard. I mean, it's like they said they kept the money to hire voice actors for it and said, hey, let's do it ourselves. And it really shows. It's pretty bad to where you're like, oh my god, are you serious? But definitely play the game in Japanese dialogue with English subtitles so you understand what's going on. Alright, so I just found this out. I have some good news for you guys. The game is actually available now on the PS4 and the Switch. So definitely you can play on this game on modern platforms. And also it's getting a physical release around July, I believe. So if you want to get a physical copy of this game, you could do so. It'll be in English and Japanese. And let me know what you think about this game in the comments section. Next up, we have Bullet Soul Infinite Burst. I don't know if this is an upgrade or a true sequel to the first game that's on this system as well, but I decided to go with this game for the video. And this game does not disappoint at all. One of the things that I love about this game is that from Raiden 4, which I showed earlier in the video, it has that like that kind of laser that's kind of like a rope in a way, like kind of where it swirls around. I love that weapon. That weapon just makes me feel, it feels like I can shoot everybody on the screen pretty much. So anybody think they can sneak up on me? Not a chance. You know, I got the rope laser ready to go. And I know it's not called the rope laser, I just called that for some weird reason, but it's an awesome weapon. But also in this game, if you push the other button, you can kind of charge your shot and just shoot straight forward. That's actually good for bosses to kind of suck down their energy down. This is definitely a game I look forward to playing when I turn on the 360. I would say it's definitely one of my 5 favorite shoot 'em ups on the system. Alright guys, here I go trying to pronounce this game. Ooh, here we go. Mushihime Sama Futari. I think I got it right. This is part 2. Also called 1.5, but the game in English, I think it translates to Bug Princess Part 2. Oh god, anyway, what a name. But yeah, this is called the Bug Princess Part 2. This game, is, as you can see, is fast-paced action, lots of fun. Can't really say too much about it that I haven't said about a lot of the other ones. I think this is one of Cave's top games, definitely one of the more popular ones, and definitely one of the ones that was popular for being region-free. So if you find a copy out there, you could play it on any 360, and of course, what you could be, I'm pretty sure you could play it on the Xbox One, as that's backwards compatible, I believe. But anyways, you guys let me know. But anyways, as you can see, great game. Definitely check this one out. All right, so here's a game I could easily pronounce: Dodonpachi Resurrection. I believe this is the 4th game. No, actually, this is the 5th game in the Dodonpachi series, and actually, this is the first one I ever played. This game is seriously like, wow, they really, I felt like they went all out with it. But I found out about this game that they made this game within like 5 months. Like the game was like totally rushed. And I think where I can see it at in this game is the slowdown that it has on certain parts of the game. But slowdown could be good for a shoot 'em up game, you know, so maybe that'll help you. I mean, you can see it helped me there for a second, but not for long. But anyways, it's still a solid game. I think it's one of the top entries in the Dodonpachi series. So not really much else to say about it. It's fast-paced action, lots of bullets, just everything you would expect from the series. Dodonpachi Saidaijo. God, man, these names, man. Another solid shoot 'em up. Pretty much from what I'm seeing, the game pretty much plays just like the other games, despite, you know, like maybe some different weapons, how they go out through the levels. This is the final release of the series, and I believe this is actually Cave's last game. So this game is kind of like a swan song in a way. There's lots of story going on in the game, but I have no idea what they're saying. But it's kind of cool how they're both like talking. Your pilot is actually talking to the navigator through the whole level. So I like stuff like that. I just wish I could kind of understand it. But at the same time, I think it would be kind of confusing because like while you're trying to concentrate on dodging bullets, you know, someone's talking to you and you could get distracted and end up getting killed. And in these type of games, you need as many lives as possible because, I mean, surviving this kind of hell is insane. So if you see this one out there, it's a must-have for your collection. Ginga Force, I don't know about this one. I didn't really like it all that much at first. I mean, I'm still trying to get into this one. I kind of got the same feeling I got years ago when I played Ihander. And Ihander, I couldn't get past the first level and it annoyed me. And I just stopped playing it. But years later, I started playing it again and actually got good at it and I actually really liked it. So I'm hoping that I will feel the same way about this game. We'll see if that happens. I'm not sure. But it looks like it definitely looks like a solid game. And I should like it. I don't know what it was with me in this game. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should I give this game another chance or what? This is the Aleste collection. I got this when it came out on Play Asia, and this consists of the Game Gear games of the Aleste games and also the Master System games. If you haven't heard of Aleste, you've probably heard of games like Musha on the Genesis or even Super Aleste for the Super Nintendo. But unfortunately, those games aren't on here. But still, the earlier games are on here, and they're freaking awesome. Some of the most expensive Game Gear games out there. But what's really cool about this collection is that they made a new Aleste game, Aleste 3. And it's pretty much like a Game Gear game, but still, man, just the fact that they brought this out on here was freaking fantastic. So if you're able to get your hands on this collection, if you like shoot 'em ups, definitely do so immediately. Here's Androdunus Part 2. This is a shooter in the making for, I believe, 29 years. The original game actually came out on the Neo Geo, and I didn't really hear much about that game back in the day. Didn't even really see it, so seeing that the sequel came out was a big surprise. But I gotta let you guys know immediately, and as you're seeing here, this game is fun. It's not too hard. I actually got pretty far my first time playing it. But man, I was just having a good time, and the soundtrack just really fits the mood. I mean, this game will really pull you in. It'll keep you playing. This game is one of the reasons why I like horizontal shooters better than vertical. It just, the way this game is put together, you could tell they put a lot of effort into it, and it shows. Also, this game has some epic boss fights, so be ready for that. The game just has epic moments in it overall, so it's definitely a must-have for any shoot 'em up fan. This game actually came out on a lot of systems as well. PS4, Switch, even the 3DS has its own version. But I have a link in the description on where you can pick this up from. So here is Death Smiles Part 1 and 2. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but a while back, I got the Japanese versions of these because I had no idea these were going to be released in America. I didn't want to take the chance on waiting, and sure enough, it did. So I actually got rid of those copies recently and got these American copies. They come with some DLC codes, I think, for some costumes or something like that, or some music. I can't remember what it was, but either way, this is an awesome collection because it comes with both games in English. The second game was never released in English in a physical format. It was only released as digital on the Xbox Live service in English. I don't know if a lot of people knew that. But a little history about me and Death Smiles. This was the game that got me back into shoot 'em ups. The first game I thought was fantastic. The music, the boss battles, that crazy cow that chases you. What's that other level that's crazy? The final level with the castle is amazing. I love looking at that level. This is what I would say is one of the signature games if you wanted to get somebody in the shoot 'em ups. Definitely tell them to check out Death Smiles. Part 2 is okay. I don't like how they went with some of the graphics in this game, but it does have a Christmas theme to it, so that's kind of cool. Like a cool game to play during Christmas. Still, it's a solid game as well. Doesn't really matter because you're getting both games in the collection. The first game is the signature in the series. Actually, that's the best one. And the second game, if you want more, there's that one as well. Stormwind EX. I actually talked about this game a few years back on the Dreamcast, one of my early reviews, and this shoot 'em up is pretty awesome. A lot of good things to say about this game. Gameplay is awesome. One thing though, that sometimes the backgrounds look really good, and sometimes projectiles can be confused with like item power-ups with this game, so you have to be very careful. But other than that, fantastic shoot 'em up game. The soundtrack reminds me of, if you've seen that movie, what was it called, Turbo Kid? Definitely got like that kind of vibe with the soundtrack. If you like techno music, you'll like what this game has to offer. Now, it's been a few years since I played this game on a Dreamcast, and I'm trying to get used to everything again. And so far, it's coming around nicely, I would say. You know, I'm kind of picking it back up again. I made a few mistakes. I got past the first level fairly easy, but the second level gave me a little bit of a challenge. But I was having a good time while I played it, and it's just a nice game to play because the music just really helps. It just really drives the game, pretty much, I would say. I mean, the soundtrack is awesome. You know, you'll probably want to play the game just to hear the music going. But if you want to know more about the game, definitely go check out my review I did a few years ago. I'll link it up here, probably in one of the item boxes or in the description. But what I want to show you guys is what Pix and Love put together for us with this collector's edition. So as you can see here, we have the regular case. We have the steel case at the bottom here. And also you have this art book that comes with it. Very nice. I love seeing stuff like this, but I'm surprised this collector's edition didn't come with a soundtrack. But either way, still what it came with is very nice, very awesome. And there's a little history about the game as well. It's early startings pretty much. So definitely, I think people will want to pick this up. Alright, so here is Jorge Hue and Friends. So this is a shoot 'em up very similar to Magical Chase. Now, I do like this game, but it was a little bit slow paced for me. You know, I feel like I don't know, I like the level up system, how during the level you could go into a shop and like pick upgrades for your ship, but pretty much I don't know, I was just sucking at this game, and maybe that's what threw me off. I just need to figure out a strategy that works for me in this game, but still a cool physical release. I mean, you guys know what I say. Getting a shmup as a physical is always a good thing. So happy with this game's release. But I need more practice. So keep your eye out for this one if you like what you're seeing here. Here's Soapstar. When I played this game, I immediately knew this is what I want in a shoot 'em up. This game is freaking fantastic. One of the things I really loved about this game is that as soon as you pick up the controller for it, things just feel so familiar. And when I say that, I'm talking about like the old school games that this game is kind of based off of, at least in the gameplay department. Now, one of this game's unique features is that you can actually teleport across the screen, so you can actually teleport out of bad situations. You have a timer on it, so there's cooldown and all that stuff, so you can't like take advantage of it. But man, you know, for skillful gameplay, that feature is really fantastic to have in this game. Another thing that I think people will like in this game is there's a plethora of ships to choose from, so you'll have a bunch to kind of test out your skills on, see which ship is like pretty much you prefer. And when it comes to like the gameplay too, you know, you only get 2 shots in this game. Like you have your regular default shot for that whatever ship you have, and then you have a charge shot that has a cool time as well. You can also slow your ship's movement speed just in case things are getting too fast for you. All in all, I think this game definitely has enough to bring in shoot 'em up fans to actually want to own it. I had a great time with this game, still having fun with it. Definitely keep this game on your radar.
Charge.
Alright, so here's Miss Koibashi's Dragon Maid. This was on sale on Amazon, and I didn't know what type of game it was. I looked at a video of it, and I saw it was a shoot 'em up, so I was like, yes, let me go ahead and pick this up. And it kind of reminded me of Castle Shishigami in a way. But just to let you guys know, if you play this game, It's really story driven, so you might want to push the start button, you know, pretty fast if you just not feeling the story. That's what I did, and just got straight into the gameplay. The game is pretty fun. You switch between 3 characters, and they all play differently. You know, one has a homing attack, one has a spread shot, and one just has a straight powerful shot. So you kind of like change it up depending on your situation. Each character has a health bar, so it's not just one-hit deaths in this game pretty much. You know, it just goes off a power bar. So when a character's running low on energy, switch to the other character, you know, and let them heal up. I think you could let them heal up. I can't remember if you get power-ups to kind of like heal yourself. But definitely a cool game I think people want to try out. I think it's going to be like one of those limited releases because I don't think a lot of people know about this game. But if you see it out there, it is a shoot 'em up. If you're in the shoot 'em up genre, I would say go ahead and pick this one up. Here's Natsuki Chronicles from First Press Games. So I believe this is the sequel to Gigaforce. But you guys in the comments let me know about that. I had some fun with this one. I was kind of struggling in the beginning, you know, with how the power-ups work in this game pretty much. It's kind of like and when you start this game, I mean, you're not powered up at all, so you're going to get pretty much tore up. But once you start powering up during the levels, even though you'll get killed, or even if you beat the levels, you'll always power up so you can upgrade your weapons pretty much. And once you get your weapons to a certain level, the game becomes so much more fun. I was actually having a good time with it. I was actually struggling a lot in the beginning. I was like, man, this game is rough. But like I said, once you start powering up the weapons, it becomes more playable. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but this game originally came out on the 360, and it was an import, of course, and it wasn't translated in English. And you only need to know the English if you want to know the story. Well, wait, you need to know the weapon types and everything, so that helps. But yeah, I'm happy that games like this are getting released on the PS4 in physical format. So good on First Press Games for making this happen. Here's Twinkle Star Sprites. I've wanted to talk about this game on my channel for a long time now. I think I talked about its sequel. But going into this game, this is a competitive shoot 'em up that is freaking amazing. So basically what you want to do in this game, obviously you play like a regular shoot 'em up. You shoot all the enemies on your screen. But you have to take care of them as soon as possible because pretty much your partner or the person you're going against is doing the same thing. And whatever they shoot goes onto your screen. So you have to make sure you try to clear out your screen as best as possible. Use charge shots, bombs, anything to get your opponent like distracted and messed up. It's a lot of fun, very competitive, and very addicting. Here's R-Type Final Part 2. So I was very excited about the announcement of this game, and when I picked up a copy, the game didn't let me down. I thought it was pretty good, but you know, it's funny. I listened to a lot of other people talk about the game, and they don't like it as much as they do the first R-Type final. I thought the game was pretty smooth. I mean, I don't know. Games are made differently, of course. You know, obviously the generation between the first and the second game is way different. I mean, the first game was the PlayStation 2 era, and this one's obviously PS4 and Switch era, so it's been a long time. But I found myself enjoying this game. I thought it was really cool. I love the way it starts out, how you're in the cockpit and you're kind of like talking to your people, and then you blast out and you just kind of like slowly go through the level. And everything seems pretty smooth, you know. It doesn't seem like a lot of enemies on the screen, but when you play R-Type games, you have to be, what I want to say, just kind of prepared, you know how to use your weapons pretty much, because if you don't, this game is one-hit deaths, and, you know, you got to start from a checkpoint, you know. So that might turn a lot of people off. But even so, I thought this game was pretty fun. But let me know your grievances about this game in the comments if you have any. I just feel more people just didn't really like it as much. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Here's G Darius HD. I got the Switch version for $15. It was on sale. And I think they were trying to make room for the PS4 version because they didn't really promote this game well. I remember back in the day playing this on the PS1. I really enjoyed it. What I enjoyed about this game the most is that it's always seemed like a different experience. Like you go to different areas after you beat a boss. I love the type of variety, and it really just gives you a different experience every time you play this game. One thing I like about this game is that you can use enemies against other enemies pretty much. And you latch onto them, you can use them as like projectiles, or you can take their weapons. I love that type of stuff, and like depending on the enemy you choose, you get a different weapon. It's hard to remember sometimes because there's all types of different enemies in this game, but you'll start to remember the good weapons that help you out during the levels. So that's the way to kind of like know which ones have the best weapons. But anyways, guys, this one should be on all your radars. So here's Demon Throttle for the Switch. Shout out to Level 1 Online. He hooked me up with this copy of this game. And for those of you who haven't played this game, it's very similar to old school games like Gunsmoke. The game kind of scrolls. Well, here's a little bit of story. Well, kind of. Your two characters have been wronged, and they're trying to get revenge for what happened to them. So you can switch between them during the levels, and you have to be very strategic about it because their energy, they could take damage, and obviously switching between them will protect them sometimes with taking too much damage, but you still got to recover. It pretty much plays kind of like a shoot 'em up in a way. Switching between characters, they have different projectiles they can use and stuff like that. You have different paths you could take. And then at the end of the level, of course, you fight a boss, and depending on what path you take usually, the game throws a lot at you. So the first level is no cakewalk, so you got to be really prepared to be moving around and paying attention to your surroundings because there's so much stuff coming at you. It's not impossible, but at the same time, you can't really slouch. I think it'll be out on Amazon by the time this video is out, so definitely check out Amazon if you want to pick up a physical copy of this game. Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. Now, back when Wild Guns Reloaded had came out, I knew that Natsume was going to go after all their games and kind of re-release them like in a HD format, I would say, or just remakes pretty much. And then I was right about that. That started to happen. And the newest one is Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. Now, this game is fun, but it's hard. I'm like, damn, dude, like you cannot even strafe in this game. It's like, dude, like it just makes it very difficult. Now, I want to unlock the very easy mode, but I haven't been able to do that yet. I haven't even been able to get past the first level. That's why I wish these games were online so you could play co-op with somebody. But I don't know. I just got to get better, guys, and I will. It's just like I was just expecting the first level to kind of like, you know, be a little bit easier, you know, break you in. But no, it does not. It's tough. And One of the reasons why it's so tough because enemies take a lot of damage, especially the boss, and you can't even strafe from this game. I hate that. I wish they would add that feature, that movement for your character, but they have not in this game. So everywhere you go, you have to walk in that direction to shoot, and it's just annoying. But if you get past those type of complaints, you'll definitely have a lot of fun with this one. It's a really good game. Happy it's out. Oh man, I gotta get past the first level, but definitely something I think you guys will want to keep your eyes on. Alright, next up we have some Darius games. So the Switch version you're seeing here is Darius Cosmic Revelation, which includes G Darius HD and Darius Burst EX plus another Chronicle. I think I said that right. But anyways, the Switch Japanese version comes with the extra game G Darius in HD, but the American version you're seeing here on the PlayStation 4 only comes with Darius Burst EX plus another Chronicle. So they took games out of the American release, which is annoying. But I did want to get this game on the PS4. I think this is the ultimate shooter, at least co-op shooter to have on the PlayStation 4 system. So I went ahead and got the PS4 version. The one you're seeing on Switch was gifted to me by my buddy John. So John, if you're watching, thanks for the hookup on this. I appreciate it. And both of these games play in English. If you haven't played any of the Darius games, to be honest with you, I wouldn't know to tell you where to start at. But I think that if you have a friend that wants to play with you, I think this one is a good one to start with. So I'm pretty sure everybody saw my Cotton Fantasy review. Yes, here is the physical game. I'll say it again. This is a awesome shoot 'em up that Cotton fans or any shoot 'em up fans have got to pick up. This game is a lot of fun. I kind of ignored it when I first saw it when it was called Cotton Rock and Roll. But after finally playing it, I was very impressed. And this is a must-have, guys. Go pick this one up now. Here's Cladrus Blaze. I talked about this on my channel before, a while ago actually. I bought the Play Asia version of the game because I thought that was going to be the only physical release for it. But later, Limited Run did their own release of it, and I got this from my buddy Cello. I wanted to see if there was any differences in packaging. The only thing I noticed is just the cover is different on both versions. They pretty much came with the same stuff, but if you have not played the shoot 'em up, it's definitely one you want to have in your collection. It's probably one of my top 5 favorite shoot 'em ups of all time. I know that's a bit much, but that's just how I feel about this game. I had a good time with this one. Now this game is available on a lot of systems: PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, obviously, Switch, and I think that's about it. Probably Steam and of course mobile or whatnot. Now the physical versions of those games, they're pretty hard to come by, so just be aware of that. So you might want to just download this as a digital. Wait a second, I just realized the Switch version is still cheap on Play Asia as of this video. That one goes for around $30, so if you want to get this physical, that might be the version for you, or you can just look up the other ones on eBay. So I got Cotton Reboot recently. You guys probably saw the video I did about it. And I picked up this game because it's one of the shooters that got me back into shooters when I was in Korea. As you can see, this remake is really colorful and it's a lot of fun. But what I mentioned in my other video is you get pretty much 2 games in one. You get the original game and you get the reboot game, which is what you're seeing right now. the reboot game, there's a lot of stuff on the screen, and it could get pretty hectic, but it's still a lot of fun. The original game is a bit easier, but definitely you'll want to play this one first before you go play the original if you haven't already. Definitely a really cool game to play. One of the cool shooters out there, and I'm glad this game is getting more love because we are possibly getting the sequels released in America, or if not, you can import them pretty soon. So definitely check them out if you like what you're seeing here. And here's one of my favorite vertical shooters of all time, Poppin' Twin B Yahoo. This was officially, I believe this was officially the last game in the series, and they went all out for it. Now, some people prefer the game before it. I think it was Denton and Twin B, but I like this one a lot. You know, this one gets straight to the point. They really put everything in here, and the animations are great. I just love this game. The music, the story, the characters, it's just all so well done. But no, you don't care about all that. You want to know whether it's a good shooter or not. I would say definitely yes, guys. Though it's not very long, it's definitely something very. I would say a lot of people who maybe want to get into shooters, they could definitely play this game and get into them. So if you see this one out there, you definitely want to check it out. I don't know if it's on Steam or any digital download service, but if it is, definitely put it on your radar. Here is Radical Bikers. Now, I found out about this game by accident. I was watching a video of a pizza delivery guy that almost hit a guy on a bike, and the guy was trying to like fight him and everything like that. And then I went to look for the video on YouTube, and this game popped up. So I said, man, as soon as I saw it, I had to have it. So pretty much this is a racing game where you race against another biker, your pizza delivery people racing to get to your destination, and you're going through pretty much like traffic and oncoming traffic. And the way that you actually beat your opponent in this game, you're not going to beat them straightforward. You usually have to take shortcuts, or usually you'll get speed boost options, but I mainly find that the shortcuts will help you win most races. The game is actually a lot of fun. It may seem hard at first, but you'll definitely get into it after a couple of matches. You'll start to get a feel for it. So I would say keep your eyes out for this one if you have the ability to play import games. So Hotshot Racing, I've been watching this game for a while now and decided to pick it up when it got a physical release. This is made by Sumo Digital. If you don't know who they are the creators of Outrun 2, Outrun Coast to Coast, which is an updated version of Outrun 2. And also, you guys know the Sonic Racing games, Sonic Racing Transform and Sonic Racing All-Stars, I believe what they're called. I don't know about the Team Battle one. I didn't play that crap. But anyways, going back to this game, arcade racing at its finest. It's a lot of fun. Something easy to get into if you want to get into racing games. I gotta let Jason know about this one too. But if you like the footage you're seeing here, it's probably something you want to pick up. One thing I noticed about the game is it has the kind of same drift mechanics as the Outrun games, but it's a little bit harder. You gotta really it's a little bit more of a doing it like on expert mode in this version in this game pretty much. And Outrun was really easy to drift. This one, it's hard to drift properly to get an advantage because you'll still, if you start drifting, you'll start slowing down and other racers will just pass you up. So it wasn't like that in Outrun because you weren't really racing against anybody. You were just trying to get to the checkpoints. But this one, you're trying to get to the checkpoints and race against the other drivers who are very skilled. But it's not too hard, but it'll take a couple races to kind of get used to it. Alright, 187 Ride or Die. I always pass this game up because I'm always 50-50 on real actors being in games. And Lorenz Tate, you know, though he's a great actor, a lot of good movies, I just never forgave his character for Dead Presidents when he got slapped down upstairs by that pimp. I couldn't get over that scene. Like after that, like his whole actor for me was like just was kind of done. But going into the game, this is what you would call a co-op type racing game. One person drives and one person shoots at other enemies. Actually pretty fun. I've seen some videos of people playing it online. It looks like they had a good time with it. I decided to try it out because I'm in the forgiving mode right now. So if you guys have played this one, let me know what you think about it. You know, it looks like it's actually really a lot of fun and might have got overlooked by a lot of people. He's kind of got with Jet Girls. Now, I talked about this game on my channel before. Actually, I did a review of this game, and there's not many water skiing games out there. You know, the last ones I could actually think of are probably on the 6th generation consoles, or at least the last ones that were good. But this is a fun racing game, and I totally think people missed out on this one. You know, of course you get it as a digital download, but the physical copy is just. He's getting up there, kind of. Now, what's awesome about this game is not only the courses that you race on, they're really good looking. I mean, they got some unique ones in here. But the gimmick in this game is that you have a partner with you. Your partner has like this super soaker, super powered water gun that knocks your opponents off balance when they're like ahead of you in the race. Also, if they get too close behind you as well. But the game is very story driven. Thankfully, you can skip all cutscenes if you're not interested in the story. That's what I did. And I just got to the races, and that's where you're going to have the most fun at, of course. I really feel like this game has a lot going for it, and I played this game so much that I actually got my platinum trophy. Though it's not hard to do, you just put a little effort into it, spend a little extra time besides the time of beating the game, and you'll pretty much get that platinum trophy. But I just wish more people were playing this game or knew about it, man, because the online mode is a lot of fun. But, when I go online with it, I only see like maybe one other person on there, so just feel like a lot of people didn't know about this game. I don't think it's a bad game at all. It's a lot of fun, but hey, hopefully I can get the word out, man. Maybe I'll see some of you guys online. Another cool thing I think people will like about this game is it has a bunch of customizations, so you can change up your watercraft, outfits, the way characters look. Plus, it has a bunch of silly mini games. Like I think there's like 3 or 4 of them. They're actually pretty fun that you could play. So if you like what you're seeing here, guys, definitely pick this one up. I don't think you will regret it. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, I hope to see you online. Here's a game I know a lot of people don't know about, Midnight Run. Konami tried to dip their toe into the arcade racer, and this one was actually a pretty good game. It handles a little bit rough, at least it did for me. The first time I played it, I was doing okay. Then the second time I played it, I actually put this in a Metal Jesus video, and the gameplay it was kind of rough for me. I was messing up really bad, but still, the game is a lot of fun. It was released in Japan and PAL territories. I got the PAL version just so I could have the English text on the case. So if you played this one, let me know how you feel about it. I believe it was in arcades in America, but I'm not really sure. It might have been under a different name. And now we have the cult classic Smash and Drive. This game is so freaking funny. It reminds me, I think it was a San Francisco Rush on the N64 back in the day where you could like drive on top of buildings and all that stuff. I could be wrong about that game. You guys let me know in the comments. But this game is just like that. And pretty much like think about Crazy Taxi and San Francisco Rush put into one game. and you're in for a wild ride pretty much. As you can see, you're driving through an airport, you're on the freaking lane and everything like that. This is insane. This game got panned back in the day, but I think like today it could be more appreciated. It's definitely an arcade game. You play it in short spurts and whatnot. It's wild fun. The soundtrack is like this garage rock type stuff. It kind of loops every 40 seconds. It's pretty hilarious. But you could think like the Dreamcast would probably get a game like this. Definitely reminiscent of that. So let me know what you guys think of this one. Inertial Drift is a fantastic racing game. You know, it took a bit for me to get used to the controls. You know, you actually control your car with the analog sticks, how you drift, because drifting is a big part of this game, obviously. And it took me a bit of time to get used to. I'm still not used to it as of yet. You know, I'm getting better, but I won my first race, so I lost my second one, but the game is a lot of fun, and I don't know if a lot of people know this game exists. You know, it did well enough to get some DLC content, which you're seeing here, the Twilight Rivals levels, which are pretty cool. But what I played in this game, I'm actually having a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to getting better at this one. So if you see this one out here and you like racing games, I would say keep your eye out for it. Here's Formula Kart Special Edition. So this is, as you can see, this is a kart racing game, and I have no idea why this wasn't released in America. You know, this game, I feel like back in the day on the PlayStation would have did really well. As you can see here, the driving is actually pretty fun. You know, you can play in first person or you can play in like a third person perspective. I prefer to play in first person in this game. It really depends on what track you're doing. You know, sometimes you can switch between, but game's a lot of fun. Definitely is one of those games I feel like is hidden out there. Some people may not agree, but man, I had fun with this game. Now, as you guys already obviously know, this is an import game from PAL territories, but if you have the means to play it, definitely pick this one up. I feel like most people have a modded PS1 already, or you know, some kind of way to play import games. So just remember that you need to have that kind of access to be able to play this game, unless you're going to play it on an emulator. But anyways, guys, I would say definitely check this game out. It's a lot of fun, definitely worth your time. And next up we have Cruisin' Blast for the Switch. So if you're familiar with the Cruisin' USA series, this is a sequel to that series. It's been a long time coming. The last game we got was pretty much back, I believe back in like 2007, 2008 on the Wii. And that one was just called Cruisin'. A lot of people don't even know about that game. But still, happy 13 years later, we got this game. And it pretty much just takes the series even further from what it was. It keeps all the stuff that you know and are familiar with and just takes off with it. The only thing I could say that I was disappointed with this game is that it doesn't have an online mode you can play with other people. But that would be pretty wacky now that I'm thinking about it. So maybe it's good that that's not included. Unless this was ported to probably the PS4 or maybe even the PS5. You never know. The online capabilities might be easier on those systems. But I don't know how netcode works, so who knows. But anyways, guys, this game is something that you all should pick up. Seriously, if you're familiar with old arcade racing, how much fun it was, how doing crazy moves and crazy stunts and just going really fast, this game is right up your alley.
First.
Alright, so Slipstream is an awesome racing game, and I want to say this is pretty much like Outrun Coast to Coast on steroids. This game is freaking awesome. It has a 4-player co-op mode, of course sit-down co-op, you know, and everything. But man, this game is so much fun, and dare I say it, you know, I think it's a hidden gem. You know, and it just came out, so hopefully we'll get more eyes on this game. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's something else. And hopefully this game will get a physical release too, because it's worthy of that. Like, it's this game was made by one person. It took him 10 years, but one guy made this game, so pretty insane. Alright, so the first game on our list is S Parade for the PS4. Also available for the Nintendo Switch as well from PlayAsia. Now, this game, from what I was told, is the story-wise, it's a prequel to the other game on 360 called Escoluda. I hate trying to pronounce these names, but anyways, really good shoot 'em ups. I really enjoyed this game, what I played so far. It kind of gives you that vibe of the old 90s shoot 'em ups by Cave when they were like actually doing a lot of like really good sprite work and everything. So really looks good, as you can see here. Lots of action. I wouldn't say it's a bullet hell. Maybe you could call it more of a bullet hell when you fight like mini bosses and then like end bosses at the end of the level. But it didn't seem too hard for me. I was having a good time with it. I actually, the first time playing this, I actually got to the 3rd level, and the game starts you out with like, I believe like 2 credits pretty much. So as you get game overs, they give you like 1 extra credit, and you keep adding on, and then eventually you get, I'm pretty sure you can probably get infinity credits like free play, but the game tries to get you like skillful at first, so you kind of get like a grasp of the game pretty much. And I was having a good time with it. Getting a shoot 'em up like this as a physical format is just like really amazing. A lot of people don't realize this, but shoot 'em ups are pretty much a niche genre, and to get them in a physical format, you know, it's just like it seems like it's unbelievable. You don't really see too many, at least good ones, come out to America, and when they do come out to America, they don't really sell well. Like an example of that is probably Cyberrier. That's an awesome game. Well, so it might be tough for some people, so maybe that's why it didn't sell well, but that's one of those games that's just kind of sitting on the shelf at stores right now. But S Parade, I'm not really worried about it because it already got a physical format in Japan, and it's in English, so you're good to go there. But before we move on, this is the PS4 version. I do not have the Switch version, so I don't know if they play similar to each other. I figured pretty much a lot of people will go for the Switch version over this one. I don't know why. The PS4 version should be superior, but I don't know if the Switch version has any slowdown or anything like that. So if you guys know about it, let me know in the comments. Here's Crisis Wing for the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. So this was a surprise when I got home from Portland. This was waiting for me at my door. So I played this game before, and I actually got my platinum on it. You know, I put in the work, and that platinum popped up for me. So if you like vertical shoot 'em up games, I would say you would definitely like this one. It has a lot of good music too, especially when you play the time attack mode. That tune in time attack mode is freaking fantastic. Gotta make sure you play time attack mode when you play this game. Now, when I played this game a few months back, you know, I would say I was fairly good at it, and I thought, you know, I still had the skills that I had a few months ago. But when I played it again, I got my ass handed to me. This game is tough. It's a lot of fun, but man, you really have to keep your eyes on the screen at all times, especially if you want to score multiple points with the multiplier item that you get when you take out rows of enemies. Now, if you want a copy of this game, it's exclusively available at Video Games New York Soft. I've talked about them in my videos before. They're getting a lot of exclusive games, so definitely check them out. I got to put in some more work in this game to get better at it, because I was really disappointed with me. I couldn't even beat the first level this time playing it around, so you're seeing pretty much most of the first level here. But before, you know, I got far in this game. I didn't beat it, but I got pretty far. But not getting past the first level really hurt my ego, so gotta get back to work. Neo Geo Heroes. This is a game that came by surprise, and actually it comes with 2 games. It comes with Neo Geo Heroes, and it comes with King of the Fighters Sky Stage, which is the prequel to this game. To be honest, the game was not the best looking graphically, but the music makes up for everything.
Selecto.
Here is the Sega Tribute, which includes Cotton 2, Cotton Boomerang, and Guardian Force. Now, I used to own the original games on the Sega Saturn, not Guardian Force, just Cotton 2 and Cotton Boomerang. I got rid of it when I sold my Saturn years ago, and I didn't regret it at first until maybe just a couple years later, because I actually really liked those games, but I just didn't like having access only on the Saturn. Now, they're available on the Switch and the PS4. Now, some of you may have heard these games had a problem with input lag. It was really bad. I remember, I think it was like 4 or 5 frames. It was insane. And I think it was even worse on the Switch version. But all that's been fixed, thankfully, and the game plays buttery smooth. So if you like what you're seeing here, and I know you guys do, because you better like the Cotton series, I would say definitely pick this up, especially as it's a tribute title, which it comes with Cotton 2 and Cotton Boomerang. I actually like Cotton 2 better than Boomerang, but a lot of people differ with me on that. And then here's the extra game that comes with these, Guardian Force. I didn't know about this game until, you know, it was pretty much included on here. I think it was a somewhat popular Saturn game. I'm not really sure. I don't hear a lot of shoot 'em up fans talk about it, but still, the more the merrier when it comes to shoot 'em up. So honestly, I'm just happy that the Cotton series has gotten a resurgence. You know, like people are finding out about the games. We're getting new games, and just overall, just happy that it's back. So definitely check them out. Alpha Systems is finally back with a shoot 'em up. It's been 12 or 13 years since the last game, I believe, was a Katsu Shishigami 3 for the Xbox 360 and the Nintendo Wii. So I actually found out that this game was being released by accident. I was actually searching on PlayAsia's website, and I happened to see this for pre-order, and I started to look into it more. And I was like, wait a minute, this is Alpha Systems, and you know, this is another shoot 'em up game. Now, this one's not a co-op 2-player game like I was hoping, but it is a 1-player one. There's a lot of action going on the screen, and not every shoot 'em up game is made to be 2 players, just so you guys know that. You know, a lot of them are made to be 1 player, and this is another one of those games. The physical game that you get from PlayAsia actually plays in English, so if you're debating on whether you want to get it or not, it does play the game in English, but a lot of people don't care about story anyways. But for those of you that do, you can follow the story in this game, as silly as it is. It's about 5 sisters that are like, I guess they're after some dude and they're all jealous of each other or whatnot, and they're fighting or whatever. It's silly. It's silly fun though. It's still a cool game, but the story, you might not really want to follow it. Now, just to go over some of your basic moves and everything like that, you have a life bar, so you get hit 3 times, and then it's game over after that. It's kind of like a life, pretty much. Like each of them is like a life, but I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying. Then you have your bomb attacks, which is pretty much like your special move. You do like a cinematic special move on the screen. Every sister has a different move, so you can see a cool special effect. So if you notice on the left, there's a timer, and the timer really cuts it close when you're about to beat a level in this game. You know, each time I got to a boss, it seemed like I was cutting it close. It doesn't seem like it right here because the timer started over because my life was reset and everything. But if you're like one of those guys that's trying to go through the game without getting killed or losing a life bar, the timer is going to be cutting it close. So just make sure your attacks are counting in this game, because if you're missing stuff, you're just shooting blindly, that timer will run out and you'll end up not getting a high score. And a lot of the time when you're playing a shoot 'em up game like this, you want that high score, you know, leave your name in the game. But this is letting you guys know that out there. The game does have infinity continues, but like I said, when you run out of life, the score bar pretty much resets. But all in all, I'm happy that Alpha Systems is back to doing what they do best, and I think that is shoot 'em ups. I mean, they probably do other things good too, but what we'll probably remember them mostly for is for their shoot 'em ups, you know. Well, not that bad dialogue from Castle Shishigami 2, if you guys can remember that. That was pretty horrific, but it still has its own charm in a way, if you think about it. And that's still a very solid game that you guys can get for cheap as well. But anyways, guys, Sisters Royale for the PS4, a shoot 'em up that might charm its way into your heart. All right, intro kind of pumps you up. All right, so RX in Raijin is a shoot 'em up game for the Switch, and I believe this is exclusive. You get to pick from 3 characters, and the first thing I like about shooters like this is that you start out with all the weapons you have. You can just switch between them. I don't really like the gimmick of having to find certain weapons. You know, it could kind of take away from how you play the game. So right off the bat, you know, I knew I was going to like this game a lot. As you can see here, I'm testing out some of the weapons here. There's your laser blast here, your spread shot. Here is your laser shot. Now, these weapons are exclusive to certain characters. I mean, depending on which character you use, they'll have a different array of weapons. But I think most of everyone has a spread shot that they could use, and the spread shot really helps out. You also get super special moves that really help clear out the screen, very dramatic. Think of them as your bomb on these type of games where you just clear the whole screen out. And here is actually what I'm about to do here. I'm testing out my weapons here because I'm about to fight the first boss. Very exciting, right? Let's see what he looks like. All right, we see some little satellite bombs coming towards me. Is this the boss? No, here he is right here. I fought this boss before and I lost, so hopefully this time I was actually going to beat him. But it actually takes some getting used to. You see that little gap right there? You have to shoot between that to actually hurt him. And yeah, you just can't just mindlessly shoot this boss in the game. You have to kind of like skillfully try to attack that little gap right there. And as you fight the boss and as you do more damage to him, he does change up his strategy. So you have to kind of like try to memorize things or just like be really good at dodging. Even though it seems like I'm not dodging right now, I am. And there's like a hit box on your plane that's the way you get hurt in these type of games. But yeah, let's try to do another special move, knock this guy out. It actually took me 3 times to take him out finally, but luckily I got past him. The game really has some catchy music, and it'll really stick with you. Also, too, I like to note that like some shoot 'em up games, and not most, but these levels are somewhat short, which is what I like. You know, I don't like a long level. You know, I like levels that are short and sweet, and you can move on to the next level. And that makes it easier for you to get in and out of the game if you want. An example of this, I would say, and hopefully this is a good example, like Skyforce was kind of like the levels are a little bit long for me, like a little bit slow, and I was like, oh man, when is this level going to end? But not with this game. You know, the levels are, like I said, short and sweet, up to, I would say, probably 3 to 4 minutes long. I could be wrong, but that's what I noticed, at least from the first 6 levels. But unfortunately, as of this video, this game is extremely expensive right now, and it got delisted back in 2021. So hopefully they'll make it available as digital again, because the physical copy is really expensive. We're talking about, well, it varies, but we're talking about over $200 for this game. So unless money is no object to you, you know, go ahead and pick it up. But hopefully they'll get a digital release back for the game, you know, because I would love to hear more people's opinions about it. It's actually pretty cool. I love the intro it has. You know, it has that old school anime feel to it. So definitely a game that's worth your time if you're able to play it. But hopefully they will add it as a download again. I don't know if they'll ever do a physical for it again. You know, we'll see. Maybe they'll make a No, they won't make a PS4 version there. Everybody's trying to look past PS4 to go to PS5. So maybe PS5, but I doubt it. But hopefully we'll get something for people. All right, so here's Battle Garega. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But this game is really cool because if you play games, and I'm pretty sure like some of you guys, this was maybe your first shooter, like games like 1942, 1943, even 1944, 1945, like those kind of like those World War II type games, you'll definitely feel familiar here. This game does what those games does, but only better. I believe this game came out on the Sega Saturn, but you could obviously tell that version is probably really expensive. So it was ported to the PS4. And I remember it was crazy because there was this collector's edition for it, but this was like the first time I saw a collector's edition like not get like come with a game. They were offering a digital code with it, which was insane. But luckily, outside of that, they did make a physical release from somewhere in Japan, and also from I think Limited Run had their own release of the game. But other than that, though, I think this is another fantastic shooter that a lot of people should check out. And next up, we probably have my favorite game on this list, Glaylancer. This was released on the Mega Drive years ago, and it never got English translation until now recently, at least that I'm noticing. I feel like this game went the extra mile. Well, the developers went the extra mile with this game because they translated the game in English, which only originally had a Japanese text. The other games on this list, though they're released here, there's no English text for the story mode, and that's, you know, mainly with both Cotton games. But just a small little tidbit about the story. It's about a girl named Luca who's trying to save her father later in the game. This game actually has 2 different endings depending if you can save her father. But anyways, the game is what I want to call one of those high risk, high reward type games. High reward is pretty much if you know what weapon to use on certain levels or certain parts. If you do not know what weapons to use, it's going to be high risk because pretty much you're going to be dodging and you're not going to be clearing enemies on the screen. There's going to be so much stuff coming at you. I mean, this is one of those games where you could just crash into like just certain platforms and just blow up. So you have to be very, very careful on how you move around. Even the first level is pretty brutal. You know, you have all this debris coming at you, lasers being shot at you. It's just so much stuff coming at you, you can barely see what's happening. And it's a trip, but it's a lot of fun. If you get past the first level, hey, I say you got a lot of potential in this game. I mean, some people can't even get past the first level in this game. I'm so happy with the digital release of this game because it leaves the possibility that this might get released as a physical, and I think that'd be very cool because the original game is very, very expensive. A lot of people don't want to pay that price for it. Also, something I forgot to mention earlier in the video is that these re-releases of the Cotton games and also Glaylancer, they have a rewind effect on them, which kind of like really helps out a lot, helps you get used to the level, and a save state. You can save anywhere you want. So I remember the games back in the day, they would just make you start over at certain points, and it would kind of get annoying. Except Cotton 100%, that lets you start off right where you left off at. But I think having that option in there will bring a lot of casual gamers to try these games out, because, you know, I know a lot of the hardcore players, you know, they like going through it old school, but a lot of these casual players, they just can't handle it, man. They got to have that rewind effect, as you see I'm using now. And for those of you who have watched this video, you know, I know shoot 'em ups are kind of a niche genre, but it's an awesome genre, and I want more people to get into them again. You know, keep these games coming. I feel like the classics, there's nothing to beat the classics, but still, man, just keeping this genre alive, it's just what it's all about. These games are fantastic. Anyways, guys. I picked up New Super Lucky's Tale because Jason had recommended it on his Extras channel, and I do like 3D platformers. For some reason, though, I don't like Mario 64 that much, but I like the other Mario games after it. But I feel like this game was gonna kind of be like really kind of cool, maybe a breath of fresh air in a way, a new little character and everything like that. And you know, these type of games are really fun. You don't really see too many of them these days, but the ones that do come out are pretty unique. Well, I don't know if I can say unique, but they're just pretty cool. Think of something like a Hat in Time or something like that. If you haven't seen that game, that's another good one. But Super Lucky Tale, I'm thinking that this game will keep my attention until the end. Next up, we got Sonic Colors Ultimate. So this game pretty much took all the good stuff from the 3D Sonics and put it all into one, and they came out with this game. It mixes elements, I would say, from 3D and 2D, because as you're playing some of the levels, it'll go into a 2D mode, which is really nice. Lots of fast action here, very reminiscent to the old school 2D Sonics, I would say, and some early 3D Sonics as well. So definitely check this one out. Next up is Clive and Wrench. So this is a 3D platform game, and it's kind of reminiscent of games like Banjo-Kazooie, Jak and Daxter, maybe even a little bit of Ratchet and Clank. But I'm in the early stages of the game, and one thing I can tell you guys is that this is a game that will suck you in. I was having a good time almost immediately. The only thing I could say that I didn't like so far is that the main characters don't talk. At least they didn't talk while I was playing. You know, I like for the protagonist to have like a voice in the game. That's one of the reasons why I never finished Jak and Daxter, because I just didn't feel attached to the game because the main character didn't have a voice. I know that's silly looking back at it now, but this is something that bothered me at the time. This game, I really feel the potential in it, and you know, I really feel like it's going to get a lot more fun as I go through it. So I'll be doing a review on this game here probably in a week or so, so look out for that. But in the meantime, I definitely, so far, I think you guys should check this one out. It's actually pretty good. A Hat in Time. Finally, this game got a PS4 physical release. Alright, so definitely this game is going to win people over with its charm. The game looks great. It's definitely a throwback to, like I said, those other 3D platformers. Now, I played the original Switch version that came out a couple years ago, and the controls on the Joy-Cons kind of felt kind of iffy to me. I don't know if anybody else felt that way, but playing this game with the DualShock controller just feels a lot better. Now, the first world starts you off with a chase sequence. It's actually pretty like easy or whatnot, but this is kind of like help you get used to the controls the game has. So to go over the story a little bit, because I love a story in these type of games, you play as a girl named Hat Kid. I think that's like they don't ever really announce her name. I don't think. I can't remember. But anyway, she's on her way home in her spaceship, and she goes by a planet, and the planet is collecting a toll pretty much. So an accident happens, and she ends up losing up all her fuel for her spaceship, and she has to go and travel to get it all back. Now, during your journey, you'll meet a lot of friends that'll help you on the way, give you tips on how to beat bosses and stuff like that. Really just like, I want to say, like very nostalgic to like other 3D platforms. I know I keep going over that, but this game is just definitely like a love letter to those type of games. Now, I just want to mention that the PS4 version does come with one of the DLC packs called a Seal. Let me see here. What the fuck is it called? Now, the game does come with Seal the Deal DLC embedded on the disc. I wasn't able to access it yet. I don't know if I have to get a certain portion of the game before I access it, but still happy that that co-op adventure is on the disc. And the other DLC that they released for the game is not embedded on the disc. It's not actually here. And I kind of feel indifferent about that because I feel like as long as this game took to come out for the PS4 as a physical, they should have all that stuff ready to be on the disc. But I guess I kind of get it, you know, they got to make that, you know, that money on the DLC or whatnot. So I don't know. I feel indifferent about it, but I'm just happy to have this as a physical. So definitely, I think it's worth the purchase. The game only costs $29, so I think it's well worth it pretty much. So I picked up Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury on the Switch, and the reason I picked this up because I actually played it a while back on the Wii U, very briefly, and I thought it was pretty fun. But I thought it'd be a good game to stream on Media Glitch's channel, like because we do streams every Saturday. And for the most part, it was a lot of fun. The only hiccup we ran into is when we would add like 4 people to it. And I don't know why that happened. Maybe there was some kind of like server thing going on. But when we had around 3 people, it was pretty smooth. But you might see a little bit of slowdown here. But overall, the game was still a lot of fun. And definitely something I know people probably have already picked up, so I don't have to tell you to go pick this one up. But Super Mario 3D World, a lot of fun, and we'll probably play this on a stream, another stream pretty soon here.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, go to the right. That's all right.
We're there. We're still good. We're still good. We're still good. See? So look at the shadow. Oh
That look to you.
Oh my God! I thought we were okay, man.
Right when you said, "Look at the shadow," I see the shadow behind the water.
So here's Concrete Genie. I got this on sale at Best Buy, I think, for like it was slightly under $10, and this game is actually pretty cool. You can play it with the VR. I obviously don't have the VR, so I was just playing it like just bare bones pretty much. And you start this game off trying to draw images in this book, in this notebook, and these kids come and bully you. They take your notebook away and start tossing it around. It's like the intro for me was hard to watch because like in that type of situation, somebody's about to get beat down. But in this game, this is like one of those kid games, so they gotta like, you know, take it easy, I guess. But man, in real life, this would have been a beatdown. But anyways, going back to the gameplay, they take your notebook, they toss it around, they throw it in the water, and you're trying to collect the pages throughout the intro. So they push you on this train, on this tram, and you're going to this light tower, and that's mostly where you learn how to play the game at. You'll start drawing a lot of figures that'll come to life in that tower. This is actually a very interesting game, and it's unfortunate. I don't think it really sold well because a little bit after the game came out, it went on sale for like under $10. So maybe they made too many of them, or they just weren't selling at all. So I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel about this game, but what I played of it, I thought it was really good.
More of my pages. Maybe she can help me get back to Denska.
Alright, next up we have Ratchet and Clank All for One. I did trade for this game with my buddy Justice. Thanks a lot, buddy. I thought I owned this game. I did own this game because I played it to a good point a couple years ago, but I do not know what happened to it. So I traded him for this copy you're seeing here with a reversible cover. And pretty much this is a 4-player co-op Ratchet and Clank game. Now you don't need to play 4 players to get through it, but it's more fun the more people you have. So definitely a cool game you can play online through the PS3 network. Now I really feel like this game led the way for co-op games like Super Mario 3D World. Buddy Joel thinks that's a better game, but obviously I think differently. I think this game is way better, especially when you have the Ratchet and Clank weapons mixed with the co-op. A lot of fun, crazy boss fights. It's really, really cool game. But I'll leave it up for you guys to decide which one you like better. They're both good games, but I feel like the Ratchet and Clank game didn't get enough love. And that could be because at the time there was a lot of Ratchet and Clank games coming out. You know, it was very saturated on the PS3 at the time this game's released. So this game got overlooked, but still awesome game, still online to this day. Just need people to play with, so definitely check this one out. I don't know too much about Metal Arms glitching the system, but I remember seeing this game back in the day, and I kind of just passed it up because there was this other stuff I was interested in at the time. I wasn't very intrigued by 3D platformers at that time when this came out, so I just looked it over. But now looking at it, you know, this game, to me, in my opinion, and I think it's a hidden gem. You pretty much play as a robot who is trying to free his people from the clutches of some kind of sinister force. So you got to gather your weapons, rescue your friends, and just pretty much go through the world. It's all robots, which is pretty cool, and it has a good voice acting as well. This came out during a time when Sierra was publishing mostly console games at the time, which was weird. Anyways, if you tried this game out, let me know what you guys think about it.
Hey, Crunk, were you able to repair our mystery bot?
Of course I f***ing fixed him. It was a huge pain in the f***ing waistband, because he's some kind of custom jobby, but nothing I couldn't handle. Some of his memory chips were fried, so he'll need a new data upload. But after that, he should be as good as f***ing new.
Huh. Does his ID chip still function?
Yeah, says his name is Glitch.
All right, Glitch. Welcome to the Droid Rebellion. Take our new fixer-upper to data upload and get him back online. Now, ladies!
Yes.
Move over, Ratchet and Clank. Rough triggers in the house. This this is kind of like just like you would think. It's like a low-budget Ratchet and Clank game. It's actually pretty cool once you get used to the controls. I came about this game by chance. I remember it was at the PX when I was shopping at the PX one day and I saw this. I was like, what is this game? It looks like a spin-off of Ratchet and Clank. And it sure did feel like one as well. But this game is pretty hidden. You know, not a lot of people know it exists. And, you know, that might be a shame because there's actually some fun to be had here. And next up, we have the core game, Outvasion from Inner Earth. So I remember hearing about this game years ago. It was supposed to be on Xbox, but it just had problems and kept getting canceled and everything. And I totally forgot about it until I saw Jason did a video. I can't remember if it was a Hidden Gems or maybe just a Wii collection video where he showed the game off. And I was just shocked that it got released, so I decided to pick it up. So this is pretty much like a 3D platform adventure game, kind of like, you know, not saying it's like Mario 64, but it's in that same genre, I would say. The game looks pretty cool, but the only thing that I kind of dislike is that you're kind of forced to use those gimmicky Wii controls. But still, I think the game is worth having, especially just for history reasons as well. You know, this game was never supposed to come out. I mean, it was in development hell for over maybe, I think it was over 10 years. But still, I guess it's a miracle the game came out. So if you like what you're seeing here, you might want to check this one out.
Good work. Now grab onto the fish with the grappling hook.
So here's Epic Mickey 2, The Power of 2. Now the original game came out on the Wii, and I think it did fairly well. Obviously, it got a sequel, but the sequel was spread out on different systems. It came out on 360 and the PS3, and I think it's only on those systems. No, it's on the Vita, and it might be on Steam. I don't know. I'll put it in the description. But anyways, this is a great 3D platformer. I mean, if you love Disney before they went where they're at right now, you would definitely like this game. This game is definitely a love letter to all the Disney characters, you know, and bringing Oswald back was pretty cool. I don't know if a lot of people noticed, but Oswald is actually supposed to be Mickey's half-brother, which I didn't even know that, so I thought that was pretty cool. I really felt while playing this game that they really put a lot of effort into it, and for those of you that have given this a try, of those that have played it, you know what I'm talking about, so definitely try this one out if you get a chance to play it. Also, I believe the game is backwards compatible on the Xbox One. Maybe someone could confirm in the comments, but yeah, maybe you can play the game upgraded. Next we have Ballin' Wonderworld. I know this game got a lot of weird reviews, people not liking it and hating on it or whatnot, but I actually had a good time with this game, and going for $15 during Black Friday, I said, you know what, I gotta try this game out. Now, this game was created by legendary creator Yuji Naka, who's, you guys know him for like Sonic the Hedgehog, Burning Ragers, what else, Phantasy Star, and Nights into Dreams, which is one of my favorites. And I think he also worked on Rodea the Sky Soldier, which is a kind of a hidden gem if you play the Wii version, not the Wii U version. Anyways, I'm not really understanding why everybody hated this game. Yeah, it's a kid's game. It's fairly easy from what I've played so far. It's not meant to be serious. It's more of like a pretty piece kind of in a way. Like if you want to break from like serious games or whatnot, play this game. It's very colorful. It's very family friendly. It seems like it's just all warm and fuzzy. Like I said, I'm just not really sure why everybody's hating on it like that. But $15, I say, you know what? I got to pick this one up, and so far I'm enjoying it. Rhyme is a puzzle platformer that I saw on Tark's Gauntlet's channel. I think it was around, almost 5 years ago. And the game looked very interesting to me, but I never picked it up. I always saw it at a GameStop. It was going for a good price, but I just never just grabbed it. I was like, I don't know what it was. But now, while I was in Vegas, I finally picked it up, and I'm looking forward to this game. I don't know if it's a long game, but I think it's one of those interesting games where, you kind of are intrigued by the puzzles, and when you complete the puzzles, you unlock certain areas or certain stuff. I'm not really sure yet, but I think I'm in for something cool here, so you guys let me know what you think about this game. Mario and Wario. Man, I've been wanting this for a long time. I saw this back when I was a kid. I was telling everybody, hey, it's Super Mario Brothers 5. It's not. It's a point-and-click game that's really a lot of fun. As you can see here, it comes with a pad, a mouse, and, of course, the game. Very impressive. I wish this would have came out in America, but it's okay. I got this at the show for around $15. I was very happy with that price. I think most people will like this game, especially Mario fans. It's a bit different, but it's still actually really a lot of fun trying to get Mario past the obstacles without getting killed. So definitely something you guys might want to keep your eye out on if you're a Mario fan. Next, we have Henry Hatsworth in the Puzzling Adventure. I was looking for this game for a long time, and I had totally forgot about it. But thankfully, I found it, and I got it for a good deal. So this game pretty much utilizes both DS screens. And in one screen, you're playing an action-adventure game. In the other screen, you're playing like a Tetris-type game. So depending on what you do on the action-adventure screen depends on how well you do on the Tetris screen. It's really cool stuff, very unique. A lot of people don't know that the creator of this game actually made not a sequel, but another game similar to it called Monster Tale, which is actually pretty exclusive to America. It only came out in America, but this is the first game I believe the developer made. I forgot what they're called, but somebody in the comment section will remind us what they're called. Anyways, guys, definitely check both of these games out. Very unique, very cool. And next up we have Mold Mania. Now, I used to own this game a few years back, but unfortunately I was talked into trading it, and I've been wanting it back ever since. Thankfully, me and Jason did a trade, and I got it back. So Mold Mania is pretty much a puzzle game where you're trying to get a black ball to the exit. Now, it's not as easy as it sounds. You will go through obstacles that will prevent you, and you have to try to figure out how to get past them. Sometimes you have to actually drop the ball in the hole, which will reset you to the beginning of the level to start over, because you get yourself in situations to where you can't get past certain obstacles. So you have to be very careful when playing this game. But it is a lot of fun. It's definitely one of those games that uses some unique ideas, and I think it'll be fun for people who want to play it. The game was also released, I believe, on the Wii Wii U store, and maybe even a Switch store as well. I'm not really sure. You guys have to look into it, but if you see Mold Mania out there, it's definitely one you'll probably want to check out. Alright, so here we have a hidden gem, Egg Mania for the Game Boy Advance. This is a puzzle game where it's very similar to Tetris, but it's pretty much Tetris in reverse. Instead of like taking the blocks and making lines out of them, you're using them to climb to the top to get out to the exit. So pretty cool. And being that it's a verse game, you know, there's a little tension on who gets to the top first. So this is a very entertaining puzzle game. Also, if you want to play 2 players in this game, you only need 1 cart. So I like that, you know, you don't have to get 2 carts, which sometimes can be pretty annoying. So there's that. But anyways, I hope you guys like what you're seeing.
3, 2, 1, go!
Play Pop Fever. This is the same as the American release that was released on the DS system. So if you played that version, you know what you're getting here. But I just wanted to have it on the PSP. PSP is one of my favorite portables of all time. So, and Play Pop, this was the first game, at least that I saw, that Play Pop tried to reinvent itself. Yeah, it's the same gameplay, but there's just something like really cool about it. The fever mode and the characters and the voices and all that stuff just gave it a little bit of an edge, I would say. Anyways, it's still Play Pop. If you like puzzle games like Tetris, you'll definitely like this one.
Here you go. Yep. Then go. Yep. Good one.
And here's Egg Mania on the PS2. Also came out for the GameCube and the Xbox. This one is pretty much the same as the Game Boy Advance one, but I actually prefer the Game Boy Advance games because I like the sprite work in those. The Game Boy Advance one has a lot of charm. This one does too, but if you play the Game Boy Advance one, that'll probably be your preferred choice to play this game. Mario and Donkey Kong is a puzzle platform that uses elements from earlier games in both series. It's actually pretty cool. I've always saw this game out there and I just said, you know, it's not I'm going to really pay attention to. But once I saw the detail they put into this game, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. So the game starts off with Donkey Kong watching TV, and he sees these Mario toys and falls in love and immediately has to go get them. And that's where he breaks into this factory and steals all the Mario toys. And of course, it's up to Mario to save the day, to rescue the toys, and everything that Donkey Kong stole. So that's where the game pretty much, that's the story for it. I see this series of games have been successful because they've made sequels to it, but I want to check this one out and see like where it started at, of course. So hopefully I'm going to enjoy this game. If you guys have played it, let me know in the comments how you feel about it. Here's Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. My buddy Cag told me about this game being on sale for $10 at GameStop, so I went to go look for it. And originally I was looking for the Switch version because that was on sale for $10, but every GameStop was sold out or missing it, so I ended up getting the PS4 version, which I was totally fine with. I planned on getting both of them. So this is pretty much a verse puzzle game. You know, it's Tetris mixed with Puyo Pop. If you guys are familiar with Puyo Pop, it's pretty much like you match the colors up. At least you get 4 colors, you know, in a certain line or whatnot. But honestly, really not much to explain here. This is a fun puzzle game that I think a lot of people will enjoy. Now, for $10, I couldn't pass this one up. I'm just hoping the first game will become $10, and I'll pick that one up as well. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this one if you played it. Here's Crystal Crisis. Now, I'm not sure a lot of people know about this title, but this was like a Nicholas's attempt to kind of do a puzzle game with an all-star cast. It was actually pretty cool. Now, being that this is an all-star game featuring all the characters, it has like this crazy story that I'm not sure everybody will want to watch, but I think it's pretty cool. And they even got the voice of Optimus Prime as a narrator of the game's story. So one thing I really like about this game is that each character has 2 special moves, defensive and offensive. Now, you'll use these abilities accordingly depending on how you're going through the match, because the AI, I'm telling you guys, sometimes you'll be winning a match and the AI will just make this crazy comeback. So got to be prepared for that. But even though that happens, the game is a lot of fun. I am going to show you this footage of me fighting the last boss, which I was on a live stream. But even though I feel like the game can be tough sometimes, it's actually still really a lot of fun. And even if you're losing, you can make a comeback just like that. I need one more. Come on. He's hurt bad. Come on. No! Almost had it. Okay. Alright, we know what to do here. Blue's gonna go here, boom. That takes care of that. Yellow, stay here. Green, of course, right there, boom. And red will stay right there. Yeah! 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 Here is Battle Axe from our friends at Bitmap Bureau. This game took me by surprise. I had no idea this existed, pretty much. If you're a fan of games like old school Gauntlet, action and adventure type, well, more action in these type of games, arcadey action, I would say, this game will be right up your alley. Lots of enemies to take out, and this is the crazy part about this game. When you take out enemies in this game, their body parts are all over like pretty much all over the map. Pretty much, I thought they were like coins to collect, and then I really looked at it. I was like, oh, dude, like this is crazy. So, very arcadey, like a lot of fun. You have 3 characters to choose from, and it just takes off from there, guys. For those of you who played the Gauntlet games, you'll know what I'm talking about. Bitmap Bureau did a good job with this game. It really pulled me in. Lots of fun, good boss battles. Just overall, an awesome game. A must-have in your collection. Oh, and I almost forgot. The game is co-op, but it's not co-op online. But still, you know, having 2-player in a game like this, yeah, that's an awesome for me. So definitely check this one out, guys. Final Vendetta. So what's funny about this game is that we were kind of unfairly reviewing this game. We were kind of comparing it to Shredder's Revenge pretty much. We had just got done playing Shredder's Revenge, and then we hopped into this game because this game I think came out like the day after or the day of Shredder, or maybe a day before Shredder's Revenge came out, and we tried this one out and we were like complaining about it. But going back and playing it again and not comparing it to Shredder's Revenge, this game is freaking awesome. This is done by Bitmap Bureau. And you guys know them from the Xenocrisis games, and they also did the Battle Axe games as well. Very well done games, and Final Vendetta is their newest project. This game is freaking badass, and I love it. And I hated that I compared it to Shredder's Revenge. I should not have done that, but I was just in the moment at the time. But this game is an awesome game on its own. The only thing I would say it's missing from the beat 'em up genre is that nowadays beat 'em up should come with some kind of online mode because you want to play them with friends pretty much. But it doesn't have online mode, but I'm still able to forgive it because the game is awesome. Lots of cool combos. It kind of reminds me of a mix of Streets of Rage and a little bit of, I would say, what's that game for Neo Geo called Burning Fight? You know, it feels like a Neo Geo beat 'em up game, so it's definitely going to appeal to a lot of people who like beat 'em ups. The animations are well done. The music is great. Controls feel fluid. You know, you don't feel like off, you know, when you do combos and stuff. So very well done. I would say, guys, pick this one up. You see it out there. It's definitely worth it. It's on Amazon. I think it's on sale right now. Don't miss out on this game. Serious. Bitmap Bureau has outdone themselves again. And, yeah, pick it up. Alright, so moving right along, I want to tell you about a cool game I played recently called Jitsu Squad. So Jitsu Squad is a beat 'em up game, and this is one of those beat 'em up games that really helps push the genre into a whole other level. This is a really fantastic game. Now I'm saying this, and I'm only on the 4th level of the game. I'm really having a good time with this one. I mean, the hand-drawn graphics that this game has, the music, the controls. I mean, it's so much fun to play this game. And, you know, it's a lot of cool moves you can pull off. And it's just so many cool gimmicks that the game added from other games. It's just, man, it's so impressive that they're actually putting something like this out. I do have one caveat, though. I feel like with beat 'em up games evolving the way they are, I think they should step it up with having an online mode. Now, this game does not have an online mode, so it's only couch co-op of the 4 players. So I'm like, what the heck, man? And this game seems like it would run well online, but, you know, they still don't have that feature in there. Unless I didn't see it somehow. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no online feature in it as of right now. So they need to add that in there because a lot of people need to like experience this game because it is truly amazing. It involves beat 'em up games, and I think a lot of people should check this one out. Here's Streets of Rage 4, the Anniversary Edition. So what's cool about this version of the game is that if you didn't already own the regular version, This comes with the DLC embedded on the disc, so no codes, none of that weird update stuff. Like, everything is included on the disc as it should be, which is freaking awesome. But one thing I didn't like the cover of this game. So pretty much what I did was I grabbed the original cover from my original version and put it in this case, so I can always see that cover of the game pretty much. If you have not played Streets of Rage 4, you're in for something pretty amazing. I don't know how a lot of the old school fans feel about this one compared to the other ones, but I think it's a really good game. I didn't like the look of certain characters like Axel. I thought they did a horrible job on him. But everybody else, I thought they did a pretty good job on. I was pretty impressed. And the music in the game was fantastic. Some of the boss fights are pretty epic. It's very well done. So hopefully, with the success of this game, hopefully they'll come out with a part 5. So we'll see what happens with that. But if you see Streets of Rage 4 or the Anniversary Edition mainly, or even the regular version, I would say definitely pick this up, guys. So here's Mayhem Brawlers. I didn't know about this game until my buddy Kyle hooked me up with this game. So pretty much this is like a precursor to, like, well, it feels like it's a prototype for Streets of Rage 4. I feel like the same people worked on this game. But this game you play as cops, and I like this game a lot because you can kind of choose your path where you go on the next level. So and it has this comic book style that kind of keeps you hooked to it. But the game suffers from online play. Unfortunately, there's no online play. So I wish they would have came out with a AI like partner to help you out during the game, kind of like Final Fight 3. But it doesn't have that. But the game is story driven, and I still think it's well done. So Mayhem Brawlers is definitely something I would say you guys should pick up.
Looks like it's time for buy a donut, get a free coffee.
Capcom Belt Action is the same as Capcom Beat 'em Ups Collection. This is just the physical format for it. And all the games play in English and in Japanese. If you're a fan of beat 'em up games, you'll probably find a lot of them on here that you never even heard of. You know, some of them have never even been released before. The most recognizable one will probably be Final Fight. That's definitely one that's great to have on this collection. One awesome thing I like about this collection is that you can actually play these games online. I played with friends before in the past, and the connection was pretty smooth, so definitely a plus when it comes to beat 'em up games. Here is Fighting Rage for the PS4. Yeah, I talked about this game on my channel before because I had the Switch version, but my buddy Jesus asked me if I had the PS4 version. I told him no, and he gave me a copy of it, man. So, you know, I was still trying to learn how to appreciate this game a lot. And as I played the PS4 version, I'm really getting the flow of this game. I'm really starting to like it a lot more. I guess I was wrong when I talked about the game before, how you have one life. You have at least 3 lives in the game. I don't know if I was playing on hard mode or something like that, where I had 0 lives, or maybe I don't know what the hell happened. But anyways, you don't just have 1 life. You have multiple lives. And that's good. You need that in a beat 'em up game. But now I would say this game is pretty awesome. It's still missing the modes it needs to be great. Obviously online mode and some kind of offline co-op mode where you have an AI controlled partner. But man, this game really takes off. It's pretty badass once you know what you're doing. Here's a game I've been looking past since its release, Cobra Kai. Now, I had no idea what type of game this was, but it was going for like $10 or $11 at one of the stores I was in. I said, no, you know what, let me go ahead and give this one a try. And come to find out, this game is a beat 'em up, and it's actually a really fun beat 'em up. Definitely something I recommend to everybody for a cheap price, of course. And now I'm actually looking into getting the sequel because I like this one so much. But I'm going to wait till that one comes down in price. It's got to be cheap because I'm not trying to pay like $50 for it. But if you haven't played Cobra Kai, it's definitely awesome beat 'em up. You can actually like throw enemies into the environment. You know, it's hilarious. It's two-player fun. The only thing it's missing, of course, like I talked about in the other game, is online play. You know, these games would really shine if it had online capabilities. But still, I'm just happy to have this game out. So I'll just go with it. But hopefully in the future, man, they'll start making beat 'em up games online, man, because a lot more people can get into them. These games are best played as co-op. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge finally got a physical release with all the delays it was having at last minute. But it's finally here, and this is a worthy game to the arcade ports of the Turtles games. The developers of this game really show that they cared about those games, and they wanted to create something bigger and better, and they did with this game. Now, a lot of you guys may have seen, or may not have seen, when I played this with Media Glitch a few months back, we had a 6-player team. We went through the whole game. It was a great experience, and I'll never forget it. It was so much fun. And it's games like this that kind of remind you of your childhood, at least if you're my age, I would say. There was a rumor I heard, or maybe it's not a rumor, but they said they were going to make 2 more games in this format. So this game might have 2 sequels. That'll be freaking awesome. I just hope in the sequels, you know, they give Shredder a little bit more time on the screen. You know, this one's called Shredder's Revenge. And Shredder gets his revenge, kind of, but it seems like he's barely in the game. He'll pop up here and there all pissed off and mad, but it doesn't really feel like a revenge. It's more like Shredder's back. It's not revenge because he doesn't really get revenge on you in this game, obviously. But anyways, guys, this is out as a physical. You could pick it up at Best Buy or Amazon, I believe. So I would say definitely pick it up if you haven't played the game already. It is freaking fantastic. Here's Asterisk Oblique Slaps Them All. I picked this game up because I played Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge, and I was so impressed with that game, I started looking at beat 'em ups again. And mainly beat 'em ups that had really good presentations, like where the graphics look really like impressive. So I saw this one, decided to pick it up. Now, unfortunately, this game is not online. Now, they could have made up with that by having an AI control partner to help you during the levels. That would have been cool. But you can switch between the characters as you're playing solo during the level. It doesn't change too much. I mean, the game does get tiresome after the first 2 levels because most of the levels seem like you're going through the same area pretty much. But still, I love the attempt they made at making this game something that stands out a little bit, especially with the graphics.
Carousel! Go see if I'm over there! Make way! Make way! Step aside! I'm in a hurry! ship is impressive. You can barely feel...
Alright, so here is Skinny and Franco Fist of Violence. Now, when I played this game, I was pretty much blown away with how violent this game is. You know, it has some crazy stuff in it, which I'll get to in a bit. But the developers put a lot of detail into this game, and even with the story, I would say. Now, the story dialogue has like a deep, I want to say, Russian accent, so you'll have to listen clearly to understand what they're saying. But of course, you got subtitles to read what they're saying. But man, it gets crazy. Now, I don't want to get too much into the story because we'll be here forever. But first thing I liked about this game is that they did things different from the first level of a beat 'em up. Instead of going to the right, you actually go to the left, which I thought was great. The game had me cracking up because you'll get a guy asking you for a cigarette. You say you don't have a cigarette, and he'll get pissed off and want to fight you. It's just like the gibberish that they say to each other before they fight is just hilarious. Well, what makes this game stand out for a lot of other games is the realism in this game. Like, if a beat 'em up was a video game, like a real life video game, this is probably the closest game to it because this game is so gritty. I mean, in a real street fight, when there with no rules, I mean, people are getting bones broken, faces busted up, and what's crazy about this game is it shows the damage on each character, like your character and the characters you're beating up. Now, the only problem I had with this game was that I felt like the levels may go on longer than they should. Now, they're very entertaining. Like, for an example, like you'll have a guy that got beat up by you. He's laid out on the ground and a dog will come and grab his face, which is hilarious. Like, stuff like that goes on throughout the level. So you're always seeing funny stuff like that going on in the background. Now, even though I don't like the length of some of the levels, I feel like this game has a lot going for it. You know, you get 8 levels to deal with, and each boss is pretty unique to how you defeat them. Like, the first boss kept regenerating energy, and I couldn't understand how to stop him from doing it. And when he regenerates energy, he would just go and sit on the bench and catch his breath. All I had to do was knock him off the bench, and it was over. I didn't even realize that. I thought it was like some kind of cinematic where he's going to just fall out and like pass out, but it was pretty hilarious. So definitely cool like stuff like that in this game. So I would say definitely check this game out. Hopefully this game, I feel like it's a game that should get a physical release. I think it should, you know, despite, you know, the levels being a bit long. But, you know, a lot of effort went into this game, and I appreciate that. So hopefully this game has some updates coming out in the future where, you know, maybe we'll get a physical for it, maybe some online play. We'll see what happens. But man, this game is as brutal as it gets, and I think most people will like it, you know, unless you have like a bad sense of like you don't like to see violence or something like that. But anyways, guys, definitely check this one out. River City Girls Part 2. Now, I understand why people were upset that I didn't include this game in the last video. And one of the reasons I didn't include it was because I usually kind of like skip past the story mode. Now, the gameplay was great, but I thought like the story mode would kind of turn people off from it. But, you know, since they added some new features to this game, I felt like, you know what, I had to add the sequel to the list. Now, the feature I was most impressed with was the inclusion of online play. Yes, you could play online with friends, and it's fairly easy. It was kind of crazy because when I played the game, you know, I opened online pretty much and nobody was on there. So I was like, dang, man, no one's playing online. And all of a sudden, someone joined me and we went through a great portion of the game. It was so much fun just having someone randomly join me and help me out. So that's why I tell people, man, like the inclusion of online play is essential for beat 'em up games, for everybody to get that full value out of them. And River City Girls 2 does that. Now, if you already liked the first game, you're definitely going to enjoy this one. Inclusion of new characters. I like that you get to play as the River City Boys from the beginning. You could choose from 4 characters from the beginning of the game, which is cool. And then I think there's 2 unlockable. One of them is actually Marion from Double Dragon, but you won't recognize her because they gave her a masculine look. So I guess a lot of the people like that kind of look with women now. It's like, really? But I remember Marion as, you know, the girl that got kidnapped in the first Double Dragon, but now they're making her just all unrecognizable. But anyways, give this game a go. Xiao Mei and the Dragon's Fist. Hopefully I pronounced that right, but I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comment section. But this game, now, I feel it's very similar to old school Kung Fu, but some people might compare it to Black Belt which is actually Fist of the North Star on the Sega Master System if you played that game. Now, I'm pretty sure the developers got inspiration from those games, but not only did they get inspiration, but they really expanded upon it. So obviously they added a lot of story to this game, so each level has its own different story. Like the boss you fight has their own little different story they add to the game, which is really cool. And in the beginning of the game, you play as two sisters. Well, you have to unlock the second sister by beating the game as the first sister. But going into the gameplay, it's pretty simple, but it keeps you on your toes. You pretty much tests your reflexes. So the game is beautiful to look at, but man, the enemies on the screen, you gotta be fast and take them out quickly because they will suck down your energy with a quickness. Now currently I'm on the last level and I'm struggling a bit because the last level really throws everything at you, so you have to be very careful while going through it. But the game does give you health during the levels to kind of replenish your health before you fight a boss, and the checkpoints are very respectable. It doesn't throw you all the way back at the beginning of the level, like you continue at a checkpoint, which is really nice. Well, mainly a checkpoint when you're at a boss. But even though I'm stuck in the game right now, the game is very beautiful to look at. It's very fun to play, and I think it's worth making this list. So definitely, if you see this on your store, check it out. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, at the bottom left-hand side of the screen here, that's your special attack. So on the ground, you can do the Dragon Fist Punch, which goes a certain distance or does significant damage to strong enemies. Or you can do the aerial kick. It's like a spin kick if you're in the air. So pretty cool, very unique. You're going to need that special move because these enemies will swarm you. Also, I want to give a shout out to AJ Splutter for letting me know about this game. I feel like if he didn't tell me about this game, I would have never knew about it. So I appreciate you, man. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. Now, this originally came out, I think it was 2011, maybe even 12, as digital download for the Xbox Live and PSN networks. Now, what drew a lot of people to this game was, of course, with the 16-bit look, you know, very nostalgic. But not only nostalgic, man, this is a great beat-em-up game, and it's a great introduction to beat-em-up games as well, especially if you guys have seen the movie or read the comics of Scott Pilgrim. Now, I personally have not read the comics or watched the movie. I tried to watch it, could not get into it. Just not for me. But the game is freaking fantastic, and it pretty much got a resurgence thanks to the re-release on the PlayStation 4, and I think it got a physical release on Switch as well, and also as digital as well. So a lot more people got to experience this game. Now, when I played this game back in the day, you know, there wasn't many people like joining you online, so I pretty much played it solo. But playing it with its re-release, a lot more people were online. You get to experience the game in its full. Like having 4 people join you in a beat 'em up game is freaking wild and fantastic, and it's a great experience. But other than that, this game has so much going for it. You know, with the characters you can pick, all the levels, the secrets, it's just so much, and it's just, man. I mean, it's definitely one of the top beat 'em ups I think of all time. Yes, I'm going there. So if you see this one out there, well, obviously you can get it as digital, but if you want a physical, I would say definitely pick it up. Alright, so here is 99 Vidas. Now, this game is actually very similar to Scott Pilgrim, but I actually prefer this one over Scott Pilgrim. Now, I know a lot of people will heckle me over that, and that's okay. We can talk about it in the comments section. But this is pretty much, I feel like, an unknown beat 'em up. And one of the things about this game is that this is one of the cool games that includes online play. So I'm hoping to get the word out about this game. Maybe some people will pick it up, see more people playing it online. Who knows? But it would be pretty awesome to have more people playing this game online, because this game gets very difficult towards the end. And I feel like me and my friends got cheated when we almost beat this game towards, like, I think it was like a couple of years ago we played it, and we got cheated. But still, that didn't take away from how much I like the game. So really feel it needs to be on this list. Now, for those of you that decide to pick this game up, I just want to let you guys know, of course, the game is available digital, Switch and PS4. But if you're hardcore enough to get the physical copy of the game, the Switch version actually has a DLC embedded on the cart. So they had the extra levels like The First of Us and a couple other spoof levels from Games, and Streets of Rage is another game they kind of spoofed in one of their levels. But definitely, like I said, this game is something you guys want to pick up. So hope to see you online, and hope to debate you in the comments section about which is better. All right, so starting the list off, we have Double Dragon Neon. Had to get a physical for this game. Ever since the PS3 version that came out for this game, I was hoping it would get a physical. And this game is, back in the day, I was kind of iffy about it. But once I played it and got used to it, I really started to enjoy it. So I'm really happy this game got a physical release. Now, you have not played this game. It's kind of a throwback of the old school games in kind of like in a comical way, I would say. It also has a really good soundtrack, especially level 2. I think this song is called Mango Tango Neon Night or something like that. Man, whoever put that track together, man, that was on point, because even I'm listening to it like in my car. So definitely a good soundtrack. The moves and stuff like that take a bit to get used to, like compared to the older games, I would say. But once you get used to them, they're easy to pull off. You can pretty much knock your enemies back and do crazy combos and stuff like that. If you have not played this game, you owe it to yourself to give this game a try. It is a lot of fun, and with 2 people, even better. The game doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just funny, hilarious, silly. Some stuff is really funny in the game, so definitely check this one out, guys.
I think they went in there. It seems like a trap, but I gotta find Marion.
So here's Dungeons & Dragons Shadow over Mystara collection. So this consists of 2 Dungeons & Dragons games, Shadow Mystara being the best one. Man, this game is so good. I wanted to get a physical release of this version because they actually released it as digital on the PSN store, but that game only goes up to 720p, and this one goes to 1080p. There's a couple of differences that I can't remember all right now, but it's definitely worth having a physical, even though this game is in Japanese, but you can still play the game pretty easy. Now, the footage I'm showing you here is still the American version, so you guys can see like certain spells and attacks and stuff. But me and my buddy X were playing this online. It was a lot of fun. And I just when we played it online, I said, I have to have a physical of this game, because you just never know. This game deserves to have history. So I wanted to grab a physical copy of it. Most beat 'em ups are pretty straightforward, but this one has a bunch of hidden paths, different moves you can unlock. It's just really well done. And what you're seeing here, the footage of me and my buddy X playing. Now, my 2 favorite characters in the game is the magic user and the thief. I think they are the best characters in the game. They are very fun to use, and they always are my characters of choice. But no matter who you use, you're going to have a good time in this game. But do know that each character plays very differently, so you have to practice them out to see who fits you the best.
Is that the bed?
Reverse ground.
So one of my favorite beat 'em up games of all time is Super Battletoads, also known as Battletoads the arcade game. Now, for people who want to play this game, it's actually available on the Rare Replay collection for the Xbox One. Now, I remember playing this game back in the arcades, and I immensely enjoyed it, and I always hoped that it would get a console release. There's an OLED Super Nintendo version out there that's complete, but I'm not too sure about that now. But 25 years later, we finally got a home console release for the Xbox One system. Now, out of all the Battletoads games out there, I consider this to be the best one ever. I mean, this one really stepped it up. I mean, the violence that this game adds is pretty outrageous, and it blew me away back in the day. I had never seen this kind of violence in a video game. This was like the first time I've seen like some crazy stuff. Another reason I consider this to be one of the best Battletoad games is because it's straightforward. It's a beat 'em up. It's not trying to do all those different things like the original NES game was. It's just pretty simple and fun. Here's Golden Force. I talked about this game briefly on my channel a couple years back, and I wanted to kind of talk about it again because a lot of people should know about this game. This is an action platform beat 'em up, kind of reminiscent to the old school, like a 16-bit era, I would say. Now, this game has a lot of great ideas, but unfortunately, if you play solo, it's kind of tough. It's still fun, but I just wish that they would have implemented what I always talk about, online play. Now, you can do that shared play stuff, but you gotta have pristine connection for it to work properly. But anyways, definitely a fun game. As you can see here, I would say you guys should definitely check it out. Here is Knights of Valor. This is one of the many beat 'em ups that's probably been lost to people like over time. You know, I don't know if this was popular in arcades when it was in arcades. I don't really know. This came out when arcades were pretty much almost dead in the United States. So a lot of people probably don't know about this game, but this is a 2-player beat 'em up. In the arcade, it might have been a 4-player beat 'em up. I'm not really sure, but the game is beautiful to look at. Lots of beautiful character sprites on screen, lots of characters to fight on screen at once, so it gets pretty hectic. But I think if you're a beat 'em up fan, this is one you might want to check out.